Good morning. It's 7 a.m. on Wednesday, July 7th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see cloudy skies with a high of 82. Coming up today on Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota, Fletcher Mackel of WDSU TV joins the show at 7:30 to talk NBA. Also, Saints defensive end and first-round draft pick Peyton Turner will call in at 8:30, and his teammate, Saints linebacker and second-round pick Pete Werner, will join us at 9 a.m. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and now on TikTok at OTB_ESPN. Watch us live on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel or on Cox Sports Television. Make sure to subscribe and set your notifications. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
What up, y'all? What's going on? Welcome into OTB here on this Wednesday. That's right. Only had one day of work, and yet here we are, hump day already, boys. Weekend fast approaching, and what a day it's going to be. Now, it's going to be a different Wednesday than normal, if you're listening. Normally, this is kind of the players-only club. We let Matt Flynn come hang out for an hour. Our guy Hilly comes and hangs out for an hour. Neither will be here today. A vacation time is in the air. That's also why Jacob Hester isn't here today. So, but that doesn't mean that we don't got some players coming on today's show, because I'm very excited about today's show. We will talk to not one, but two Saints draft picks. The top two Saints draft picks is both Peyton Turner and Pete Werner going to stop by the show. Turner at 8:30, Werner at 9. Let's go. We're going to talk to my guy Fletcher Mackel at 7:30. And then Stephen Godfrey at 9:30, who I love and is kind of the bagman expert. And as we'll see at 7:15, what is the role of a bagman in the age of NIL, right? Have they been codified? Have they been legalized? Do they shift their services? Do they remain underground? These are all things that I want to get into with Godfrey. Also, he just joined. Have y'all boys ever seen Secret Base on YouTube?
Yes.
This is by John Boys.
Yes.
It's
really good.
incredible. It's incredible, right? It's like just these unreal sports videos that look at moments and situations from angles that you've never considered. Some of the most creative, it's one of the most creative channels, especially in the sports department, on all of YouTube. And Godfrey just joined up with Secret Base as well. So, I mean, just plenty of stuff to get to here on this Wednesday. Hope that everybody's having an awesome day, man. If you're driving into work, let's have a great day. Let's get it done. Stay positive, smile, have fun, all those great things right now. Let's dive into some headlines brought to you by Barbecue Guys.
OTB headlines are brought to you by Barbecue Guys. Barbecue Guys, for those who are born to grill. Visit bbqguys.com to learn more.
We're going to start with a little LSU baseball news, as the first coaching vacancy of the Jay Johnson era is now filled, as LSU hires former Arizona State assistant Jason Kelly as the new pitching coach. Just as an aside, it does feel kind of odd to think about Alan Dunn no longer being the pitching coach. Like, obviously he's not, and it's, none of that's unsurprised or unexpected. It just, again, it's one of those moments where you're kind of, wow, we really are entering a new era of LSU baseball. Good job on Kelly getting the job, though, because the story behind it is pretty wild. So first off, Arizona coach had a head coach change. A new head coach, Willie Bloomquist, comes in. He retains Kelly, makes him recruiting coordinator. Later on in the process, Kelly asks on Friday to interview with LSU. It's a higher paying job, right? Let me just go to an interview. Bloomquist, upon the request for the interview, fires Kelly on the spot. So Kelly gets fired on Friday. He then interviews on Saturday, and he gets hired on Monday. So all's well that ends well for the Kelly family, but I can't wonder if there was a little consternation there on Friday. As far as Kelly's past goes, spent 6 seasons at Cal Poly. In 2011, the pitch staff posted the best year. We don't need to get into all that. I guess the greatest part of his resume that's going to stand out to y'all, in 2018 when he was at Washington, they made the College World Series, And D1 Baseball named him National Assistant of the Year. I was talking to Eric Sorensen about Kelly yesterday, and he believes that this is a very good pickup for LSU. Interestingly, another West Coast guy coming down to Baton Rouge. This is not something that often breaks into headlines, but I think it's relevant. We'll call it, I have the topic on the headlines as training room, because I didn't really know how else to say it. Remember, just a little while ago, we talked about Jack Marucci, talked to Jack Marucci about his move from Director of Sports Medicine to Director of Performance Innovation. Well, he is now being replaced with Bo Lowry. Lowry got his master's in kinesiology from LSU in 2005. He has spent the past 9 years on the sports medicine staff with the New Orleans Saints, and he is beloved. Like, I have no great way of proving this to you without reading you a bunch of quotes or anecdotes. But just know that for the people in the know, this seems like an excellent hire for LSU as far as who's going to replace Jack Marucci. So congratulations to Bo Lowry. It looks like these players are going to be in good hands. And the NBA playoffs, game 1 of the NBA Finals went down last night. And Chris Paul, it may have been his first time ever in the finals, but he was at his best. No fear of the big stage for CP3 as he goes for 32 points, 9 assists, 4 boards. And how about DeAndre Ayton, the big man? 22 points, 19 boards on 8 of 10 shooting? Now that is efficiency. The scariest part maybe for Bucks fans is that Booker was kind of off, right? Sure, he finishes at 27, but he goes 8 of 21 from the field, only 1 of 8 from 3, so you didn't even get the Suns at their full capacity. But then again, you didn't get the Bucks. Giannis did end up playing. He played well, but he's not 100%. Really, if the Bucks are going to avoid losing 118-105 again, I think Drew's going to have to play better. Drew struggled yesterday. Just 10 points, 4-14 shooting, 0 of 4 from the three-point line. Phoenix, though, at home, gets it done. A 1-0 lead in the NBA Finals for the Phoenix Suns. What a weird-sounding sentence that is. The match went down yesterday. If you don't know what the match is, that is a charity event that continues to grow in kind of popularity. It's even a golf event that pairs a professional golfer and another professional athlete against a professional golfer, another professional athlete. This year was Aaron Rodgers and Bryson DeChambeau against Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady. And although I would say that Mickelson and Brady, the fan favorites, kind of without a doubt, it was Rodgers and DeChambeau that got it done in the end. Of course, Rodgers had to weather constant jokes about the Packers kicking the field goal and him not being happy with his bosses, et cetera, et cetera. And there was even an ESPN segment earlier today about Rodgers on the course talk. Like, we are breaking down everything this man said, and yet Rodgers, unperturbed. He's the one who came up with the game-winning putt to send Phil and Tom packing. How about this, though? In the end, it's for a great cause. 6.3 million meals funded for Feeding America and $2.6 million raised for My Brother's Keeper. Congratulations to everybody in the match making it happen. How about a little UFC news? This Saturday night, July 10th, it's going down between Louisiana native Dustin Poirier, the Diamond, and Conor McGregor. They're going to take center stage. And yesterday, Dana White revealed that the winner of Saturday's fight will go on most likely to fight for the lightweight title next. If you remember, after beating Conor in round 2 of their trilogy, Poirier actually had the opportunity to go fight for the title. He chose to fight McGregor again, close out the trilogy. Makes a ton of sense, right? It's a bigger money fight, so you make more money. You prove once and for all that you're the better fighter, and then you still get that title shot. There's more cash in the bank and a little more cachet behind your name. Hell yeah, Poirier, let's go. Put it on for Lafayette. Put it on Conor McGregor. And Euros 2020 yesterday. To wrap things up, what a match it was between two European powerhouses. Spain and Italy looked sexy on paper, and it was just as sexy in practice. A 120-minute battle that saw things tied up at 1 apiece before the game goes into PKs. And at that point, Italy just took over. Winning PKs 4-2, they advanced to the final today at 2 p.m. England, Denmark, England, trying to advance to the final, trying to win their first major tournament since the 60s, trying to do it all on home soil. The pageantry is going to be absolutely fantastic, and it's going down at 2 p.m. Central this afternoon. I can't wait. All right, when we get back, here are double coverage. Those are your headlines. Brought to you by Barbie Guys. What did I say? Double coverage?
What even is that?
Whoa, dude. Whoa.
Okay.
That is I'm trying to think about how many years ago that is now. That is the old show that I did with Christian Garrick in New Orleans that started on 13:50 a.m. in New Orleans. It probably ran through about 2015, something like that. Or I don't. It's been a long time, is the point. So some sort of weird muscle memory reflex just fired off of my brainstem. When we get back on Off the Bench, I want to talk more about some of the NIL fallout or the Wild West nature, right? The continued crafting of what this all actually looks like, as there's a Miami business owner who is in the news, Dan Lambert, because he just guaranteed $500 a month to every single person on scholarship at the U. What does it mean? What does it mean for boosters? We'll break it down. Look, if you want to get involved, as always, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. It really helps us. Please, the algorithmic gods and all that. If you're watching on CST, shout out. Tell your friends about it. And we'll be back next with more Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go to advantaclean.com. Advantaclean. So ADVANTA clean.com. If you've got fire damage, water damage, mold damage, you want Advantaclean. It's one call to solve it all. They're open 24/7 too. So like, let's say it's like a middle of the night problem. You got pipes burst. You need to get on that ASAP. I don't care if it's like 3 a.m. and you go to the bathroom. You got wet socks. You call Advantaclean. They're out there immediately. They fix the problem. They document it. And then they deal with the insurance company for you, okay? So you don't need to go to your insurance company first, or they're going to funnel you to businesses. They have a pre-existing relationship. You go to Advantaclean first, 369-5228, 369-5228. You go to Advantaclean first, and like I said, not only do they fix it, but they document it, and then they make sure that they deal with the insurance company. So there's like no need to feel overwhelmed by any of this, okay? Advantaclean during storms, they have your back. One call to solve it all, 369-5228.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. LSU has a new pitching coach. We'll tell you all about Jason Kelly and Game 1 of the NBA Finals. We'll recap it. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back. OTB here on this Wednesday. Shout out if you're in the chat again, like it, share it, all that good stuff. All right. Let's talk about the U. They're back in the headlines. That right. Miami. And let's talk about NIL. Now, I will say this. I find all of this a bit surprising because there are some that are acting surprised by this story that we're about to get into. And I feel that we've kind of said this was going to happen from the beginning. In fact, I feel like even schools like LSU have kind of, been very forward-thinking with this, right? There's been kind of the idea behind LSU's entire pitch a lot of times. It's all about recruiting, right? It's about come here and you will maximize your brand and maximize your value. And if you look back to the last couple of years when we've thought about NIL, what was one of the first questions that people had? Well, what's to stop boosters from promising recruits money if you come here, right? What's to stop these boosters that used to pay under the table from then, I got a sandwich shot, I got this. So like, if you're a booster, chances are you have money. There's probably a lot of crossover in the Venn diagram between boosters and business owners. Well, all of a sudden, all those payments that you're doing on the table for, they are codified and legalized, which is good, right? You don't want guys losing eligibility or anything. And so this is an issue that, because the NCAA refuses to get involved, there was no real answer to. Just, we'll let it shake out, see what happens. So I guess I was just a bit taken aback's a bit strong. I was just, like I said, a bit surprised that some people were like, wow, I can't believe this is going down. So what I'm talking about here is Dan Lambert is a business owner in Miami. This is a man who owns a chain of MMA gyms. MMA is huge in Miami, down in Florida. That's actually where Poirier's trained. Not necessarily in Dan Lambert gyms, but that's where Jorge Masvidal trains. Well, Dan Lambert has a lot of disposable income. Dan Lambert is a huge Miami football fan. And he is now guaranteed each scholarship player on Miami $500 a month to advertise his gyms on social media. That's 90 players, $500 a month. That's a total of $540,000 a year. Now, that's huge from like a business standpoint. It's a bigger marketing budget than he's ever done before. And so he's not sure if he will do it past this season, but it is a sign of potential things to come. So right now, I don't care if you are the third string quarterback. I don't care if you are the eighth string wide receiver, right? If you are buried at the deepest, darkest depths of that depth chart, you're still getting $500 a month if you're on scholarship, all thanks to Dan Lambert. So this is somewhat interesting. What I think is more interesting, though, is what Lambert has planned next. And again, it's a sign of things to come. And without any sort of NCAA guidance or federal guidance in this issue, I mean, I think that other schools and other booster communities will start to follow suit. So he just started corporation, Dan Lambert, he just started a corporation called Bring Back the U. And the mission statement of Bring Back the U, the sole focus, is to put money in the pockets of Miami football players. And how he's going to do this is kind of fascinating. So He will attempt to bring in a bunch of local businesses, right, who's ever into it. He's going to attempt to rally support for them, to encourage them to hire Miami football players as their spokespeople. He will even go so far as to host fundraising events. Fundraising, right? For charity, right? And stuff like that. No. Fundraising events where every single dollar is then donated to local businesses that then agree to use the donation to pay for Miami players. So if you're a huge Miami football fan, Dan Lambert may have a fundraising event where you call in, give whatever you want, right? You give $100. You know that your money will then go, your $100 will go to Dan Lambert. It will then go to a local business that has pledged to put that $100 towards a contract supporting a Miami football player. So this is a man who is trying to kind of shift the money around, right? Democratize some of that money and bring it to the roster as a whole. And when you start to think about it from recruiting, what an incredible pitch, right? I mean, how many kids, and this has always been the case with this conversation, and it's why LSU being so far ahead of the curve and them getting out there being like, look, you want to maximize income, you want to maximize your brand, come down to LSU. If you're a recruit and you're deciding where to go, this is a huge deal, right? This is a huge deal. I mean, it's a huge deal even if you're in a financially solid situation. Let's say you want for nothing, right? You've had a really blessed upbringing. Well, guess what? In college, you still want that extra cash. It becomes, though, deal breaking, deal deciding if you're talking about someone who may be in a bit of a tougher situation, or maybe they need to help to provide for their family at home. Maybe you've got a family of your own that you need to provide for. And all of a sudden, the monetary aspect becomes crucial. Now, you may be saying, well, like, surely this sort of, I mean, it is almost like a political super PAC, but on the college booster level. Be like, well, T-Bob, surely this is like stepping over some lines, or it's illegal in some sense or fashion, because it sounds so incredibly foreign to our brains. I mean, this is something that a year ago would have gotten you the death penalty. I mean, a few months ago even, I guess. But Dan Lambert says, look, he's been in touch with compliance throughout the process. He's been in touch with his lawyers throughout the process, and everything is above board. I mean, when we spoke on the Wild West nature, I mean, as long as the school, like the school itself, cannot be the one who is providing those deals or creating those deals. Like LSU, it's kind of funny. We're like, well, isn't that what we've been applauding LSU for? LSU's not creating the deals. They're just providing you the stage. And that's their push, right? Is that if you come here, you'll be on the stage, the deals will follow. They're not the actual architects. So as long as Miami isn't doing that, well, Dan Lambert's good to go. Here's a couple quotes from him that I think are pretty interesting. Quote, there are improper ways of fans supporting their players, and now there's a legal way to do it. And if there's a legal way and you can dot the I's and cross the T's, I'm going to do it. I think he's representative of many college football boosters and people who already put themselves at risk and others by giving money under the table to sports. Another quote, I'm not looking to profit from this. I want to bring people together and make our team better. I've got too many Gator and Seminole friends that have been crapping on me for the last 20 years, and I want to reverse it. I mean, look, that is logic that a lot of college football fans can jive with, right? Isn't that one of the worst parts about consistently losing to your rival? It's having to deal with just the attitude of their fan base and how they carry themselves around like they're just flat out better than you. So Dan Lambert, thinking ahead, he's doing everything that he can legally to try to help bring back the U. And I can't help but wonder when others will follow suit. Like, surely something like this in Baton Rouge is cooking up, if it has or has not. Now, I should say this. I'm not going to pretend like I am fully versed on the ins and outs of all the state laws regarding this. And right now, again, and the big piece in all of this, and I think it's two things with the NCAA. The big thing in all of this is that the NCAA is not here. There are no set of federal guidelines. So because of that, it comes down to state laws and school rules. I don't pretend to know the ins and outs and all the differences in state laws and school rules. So maybe there's something that stops you here in Louisiana from doing this if you're a business owner from forming one of these super PACs? I would not guess that is the case, but I guess that will be revealed in time. My question for the NCAA is, are you upset by this? Because you knew it was coming, or is this by design? Is the NCAA hoping that this sort of chaos, this sort of willy-nilly, laissez-faire kind of backed-off approach, are they hoping that it leads to chaos and then leads to people demanding reform? Perhaps. Perhaps it does. But I will say this. It's a dangerous game to play, right? Because this is kind of like a toothpaste in the tube situation. Once these players start getting that money and they start being able to provide for themselves, maybe for their family back home, maybe for their family close in, whatever the case may be, once those players start getting that money, I don't know if you can cut that off. Again, I don't know if you can put that toothpaste back in the tube. And so the NCAA, maybe they're hoping that Congress or somebody else will step in and get something federal passed, but it looks like they could be taking a big gamble that could send everything past a point of no return. In fact, I would argue that I think you're probably already there. And again, there's nothing, according to Dan Lambert's lawyers, there is nothing about anything that he is doing that is wrong. So that is right. We now officially live in the age of the legitimized bagman. It has arrived. Political super PACs, not content to just be stuck in the political realm, will now be ruling your college football teams. Come on, business owners, if you're listening, if you're in the chat, text me, get in touch with me. I want to know who's thinking about doing something similar, thinking about doing the same things here in Baton Rouge. And doesn't that become fascinating? Because at that point, you're almost city economy, state economy, like a whole lot of factors start to get wrapped up in this in terms of how much money can you commit to this sort of endeavor. The age of the legitimized bagman hath arrived. Wild, wild. That's why I'm really excited to talk to Stephen Godfrey coming up at 9:30. He has written, nobody knows the bagman scene better than he does. I want to get his take on this. Is the exception rather than the rule? As a college football fan, how's it make you feel, man? Let me know in the chat, and we'll get to it. Coming up next, though, we got to talk to my guy, Fletcher Mackel, and we're talking about everything. He's a baseball head, so talking about Jacob Berry, talking about the Pelicans, talking about the finals, Sha'Carri Richardson. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to DonaldSonGlassandBody.com today, DonaldSonGlassandBody.com. I want to fund a super PAC to encourage everybody to go to DG&B, because once you do, you'll realize why I'm sending you there, man. The customer service is second to none. The quality of the work is second to none. They have the best body shop in the state, and I'll put that on anything. So if you get in an accident, get that quality. And remember that the insurance company can't tell you where to go. The police can't tell you who to tow. The answer to both is Donald Glass Body. What if it's not an accident? What if you're at work, your car breaks down? You're at home, your car breaks down. Incredibly inconvenient. You know who's going to help you out a little bit? DG&B. They'll bring their tow truck out. They'll pick up your vehicle, fix it, and then drop it back off to you. The towing and all of that, completely free, because that's what we're talking about over there at Donaldson Glass and Body. Now, look, it can be something, an oil change, it can be glass repair, tires, brakes, whatever the case may be. They are a literal one-stop car shop. Been going for years. You should too. Go to dgbauto.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to...
Coming up on a Wednesday edition of Middle Relief, we recap Game 1 of the NBA Finals, talk some LSU football as we'll be 59 days away from the season opener, and a whole lot more. Middle Relief, 12 to 3 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
William Ivey says, so I guess Will Wade is now off the hook. Well, that is a bit interesting, right? It's almost a Shakira Richardson situation because he's accused of something that is now legalized, right? But maybe when he did it, it wasn't at the time. But yeah, the Teflon Don, I don't think you could touch him. We'll obviously, I mean, we'll wait and see. But yeah, I think Coach Wade probably all good at this point. Let's talk to a guy who was always all good. My guy Fletcher Mackel, a true Renaissance man when it comes to sports over there at WDSC. I mean, you're talking about a man who still plays fast pitch adult baseball. Okay, got the baseball knowledge. He's always firing up the trade machine. Loves the NBA. He's a man who's covered the Olympics live. So somebody who can run the gamut with Fletch. What's up, dude?
Thank you for the very generous introduction there, T-Bob. And yes, I do. If I could add to that real quick, I still play I'm in my 40s now.
I know.
I still play in an over 35 men's baseball league every Sunday here in New Orleans. And I joke because 20-something years ago, I played in a college summer league with Doug Thompson, who obviously, pitched the final out of the LSU championship. And I like to joke with him that I still play because I was no good then. He doesn't play anymore because he was good then and achieved something special. I never had that special moment, so I am still hanging on by a thread as a never was.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you're I've seen the highlights, man. You're still taking the bump. But okay, so let's start then with baseball. Because already right now, the huge news recently, Jacob Berry transfers to LSU. You're already getting an idea of what him and Dylan Cruz look like with one another on Team Stars right now, playing in that for the USA. What's your reaction to the recent news cycle, right? The hiring of Jay Johnson, bringing in Jacob Berry, hiring Kelly as the pitching coach. How do you feel about the transition of LSU baseball?
Okay, I'll go back to kind of the beginning when you said Jay Johnson. I thought that Scott Woodward, I saw what he was trying to do. And look, we know by now what Scott Woodward is. And I like Scott Woodward. I think he's going to be great for the university. But he is a big name hunter. I mean, when he was at Washington, when he was at Texas A&M going to get Jimbo, his first big hire in Baton Rouge is Mulkey. This isn't a guy who says, let me go find this up-and-coming assistant coach and they'll develop and I'll find the rising star. He goes and finds the shining star and brings them in. So I thought for a couple of weeks, oh, no, this isn't good, because he got up to the plate and he took some big cuts and had some big whiffs there for various reasons, Casey and Vitello and why things didn't work out replacing Palmineri. But he had one more cut. And to me, he got a sitting head coach from a Power 5 conference who's brought his team to Omaha. If he didn't knock it out the park, he's standing on third with the stand-up triple, smiling right now as people cheer. So I think he did a great job hiring Jay Johnson. And then obviously Johnson with bringing his freshman star who hit 17 home runs, the player wanting to transfer to Baton Rouge, it's just going to bolster a lineup that already features Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan. I mean, talk about three unbelievable players and hitters right there. And then, look, I don't know much about this pitching coach other than what I've read, but he certainly seems to be pretty accomplished from his days at Washington and Arizona State, winning the, assistant coach of the year.
Yeah.
So it seems like baseball is trending in a very positive direction right now as they move past legendary skipper Palmineri.
So we're having a pretty fascinating conversation this morning, Fletch, because Dan Lambert's a gym owner. He owns a series of gyms in Miami, very successful businessman, and he has promised every Miami scholarship football player $500 a month to advertise for his gym, all 90 on scholarship. More than that, though, he is basically putting together a pack of local businesses where they'll do fundraising events and all this other stuff where every dollar will go to businesses who are promising to sponsor, right, to advertise with Miami players. So we kind of live in the age of the legitimized bagman. Now that NIL's passed, it is truly some Wild West territory. And I think look, give me your thoughts on just what this does to college sports going forward. It's obviously massive. But just how about this? I mean, do state economies start coming into play, right? Like does it matter if you're talking about trying to recruit to Texas? So they have Austin and all those tech companies, a lot more water or a lot more money floating around in the air compared to somewhere like Louisiana. Does this sort of stuff end up having an impact on these recruiting battles?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, you look at places like USC for football when you can recruit LA and you can recruit, all the businesses there and all the people there and the possibilities for, name, image, license agreements. Same thing with Northwestern in Chicago, or, you just referenced Miami, even places like University of Texas in Austin, or, an SMU in Dallas. Yeah, I think, look, UNO, and I know you have family ties to UNO because of your brother there. They posted something saying, come to UNO because of the opportunities you can have from a cultural standpoint and potentially have NIL deals here. Now, is that going to make it true for every athlete? No, it's not. But I certainly think LSU realized getting ahead of the curve in saying, look, the campaign they did last week with Livy Dunn and the athletes about NILSU, I thought was great because it shows athletes we're on board with this. We want to work with this because that is going to be something that is part of recruiting for the big-time college athletes. So I think it's going to be for the rank-and-file athletes. No, I don't. Look, I talked to Darren Ravel last week and did a big story on this, and he said that there is absolutely positively going to be a half a dozen athletes like Livy Dunn that benefit in a massive way from this because they are social media influencers who just happen to be college athletes. There's going to be other high-profile people, like Miles Brennan, like Stingley, who got deals. But 90+% of these student athletes are not going to get these deals. But it's a principle thing. If they gain that popularity and can get money off of their name, likeness, or because of what they have accomplished, they deserve to do so. The university's not paying them, but if they can make money off of their likeness, they deserve to do so. But to answer your question in a very long way, I absolutely think it is going to be something universities use as a recruiting tool, especially in major cities with tech industries or major cities with businesses that quadruple other cities and college towns.
Yeah, that's really where my head's at. Like, LSU's done a great job of, like you said, being forward-thinking. But again, they can't fund these deals. They can't facilitate these deals. So then it goes to the local economy to do that. And I wonder if we need the chicken empires to come together, right? Popeyes, Cane's. It's time for y'all to unite and fund LSU football. We're talking to Fletcher Mackerel here of WDSU. Fletch, what about how many Olympics have you covered in person?
Okay, so I appreciate that, and I can poke fun at my company a little bit here. I am the sports director at our TV station, and I have an identical twin brother for your listeners right now that may not realize. My identical twin brother is our news anchor here, and he's one of our reporters at WDSU. Our company has picked my brother to cover the Olympics 3 times, and he's the news person, and I have covered 0.
What? I thought y'all both win. I thought y'all both win every time.
No, and people ask me that all the time. Are you going to the Olympics again? And so thank you for lifting my blood pressure at 7:30 in the morning, in getting me going this early. That he has been to Russia, Sochi, Rio, and then South Korea to cover the Olympics 3 different times. It shows you where I rank on the family food chain in our company's eyes.
Well, how about this then? Maybe you're actually better suited to answer this question, as you and Sha'Carri Richardson have a little bit of a bond. What's your reaction to the news that she has not been selected for the 4x100 relay team, and so she too will not be going to Tokyo?
That is a tremendous segue on the fly, T-Bob. Thank you. I'll say that. I think it's horrible. I think it's crazy, and I think I'm probably echoing a lot of maybe what you believe. I apologize. I haven't heard your comments on this, but I'm curious to hear them as well. I think the fact that marijuana is still happening in 2021 is borderline crazy to me. I mean, in any professional sport, that marijuana has become illegal in so many states. I mean, look, I went and covered the Pelicans versus Portland Trailblazers series 3 years ago in 2018. And they have weed dispensaries almost on every block, and there's a lot of people just smoking it on the street. And so I don't understand in today's day and age where we are decriminalizing marijuana. We just had a huge initiative here in New Orleans, led by one of our city councilwomen, Helena Moreno, to decriminalize marijuana. Why we're still testing for a non-performance enhancing drug and penalizing athletes when this is used for medicinal purposes and is not a criminal entity or enterprise anymore, if you will. That being said, I do understand rules and protocols and policies and procedures. So I think it's something that you have to compartmentalize. Why is it still a rule is one question. It's foolish that marijuana testing is still a rule. Is it still a rule? Yes, and there are repercussions for breaking the rules. I also understand that. So I am trying to thread the needle and walk a fine line between, I think it's a travesty she won't be going because she used marijuana to cope with the traumatic experience in her life, with the fact that it is still an archaic rule that is still on the books, and people have to play by the rules or there are consequences for those rules. But I certainly lean more towards this is a wonderful, amazing young athlete who's the fastest woman in the world right now that is not going to be able to compete on the sport's grandest stage because of some dated, archaic nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's incredibly well said. I also think that, like, for all the rules people out there, I get it, but that doesn't mean that I can't feel horrible for her or feel horrible about the whole situation. Last one here, Fletcher. Like I said, we've run the gamut with you. You're a great coverer of the New Orleans Pelicans. You may have a medical addiction to the NBA trade machine. So when you see the Suns and you see the Bucks, and here they are, right? Two teams that the Pelicans would love to emulate. In fact, teams littered with former Pelican ties in the NBA Finals. How close are the New Orleans Pelicans really? Or far?
So I can spin this from two different angles. The positive angle is I think the Pelicans are really close. You look at the Phoenix Suns. They've missed the playoffs for a decade. They had great young players with Booker, in Ayton, in Bridges. Then they sprinkle in a veteran player like Chris Paul, and it kind of all comes together for them and galvanizes, and they're in the finals this year. You look at a team like the Atlanta Hawks, who was in the Eastern Conference Finals against Milwaukee. and you say, wow, the Hawks have been terrible the last few years, but they had players like Trae Young, and they've been drafting guys, Herter and some of these really good young players, DeAndre Hunter in the lottery, and then they sprinkle in some veterans like Gallinari and Bogdanovich, and they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think the Pelicans are really close to being a bona fide playoff team in on the cusp of contender. Now, that's the positive lane. The negative lane is the Sacramento Kings and the Minnesota Timberwolves have been saying the same thing for about a decade, that they are close, they are on the cusp, and the Kings haven't been to the playoffs since 2006, and the Timberwolves have been to the playoffs once since 2007. So you look at it from two different perspectives. The Pelicans absolutely positively could be the Suns, or they could be the Sacramento Kings. Take your pick, because I could truly make a strong argument for either one.
Fletcher Mackel, WDSU Sports Director at Fletcher WDSU on Twitter. Fletch, man, I love talking to you. You have a great day, my friend.
All right, T-Bob, anytime. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you need me to jump your bosses, dude, let me know. I'll get Danny to do it. All right, when we get back, let's close up hour number 1 here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to therelaxationcompany.org, therelaxationcompany.org. Big news over there at The Relaxation Company. If you don't know what that is, brand new massage joint right there out at Pelican Point in Gonzales. Really chill, great location, really chill vibes. That's why it's called The Relaxation Company, right? You go in, you book a time online if you want at therelaxationcompany.org, or you go in, look at the services, choose what you want. Go get that 60-minute Swedish for a better price than you'll find anywhere else. The bottom line is you treat yourself, right? And then you make yourself a little better. It's better for your family. It's better for everybody around you. The Relaxation Company, though, they're growing right now, man. People are loving it. They're hitting them up all the time. They're hiring. And right now, they just hired a new licensed massage therapist, Tia Dempsey. If you want to go check her out, do that. And remember, The Relaxation Company, they are local. They are family-owned. This is the culmination of a lifetime's work and a lifetime of dreaming. Go support local business. Get yourself a massage. TheRelaxationCompany.org.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
Do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocol.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. LSU has a new pitching coach. We'll tell you all about Jason Kelly and Game 1 of the NBA Finals. We'll recap it. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The
States economies, in case you missed it, because we're talking about NIL, we're talking about super PACs being formed, we're talking about the fact that these colleges can say that, look, we will set you up to get paid if you come do college athletics here, but ultimately it is up to the local businesses to pay the players, right? So the colleges can say, well, this is the best stage for you, but somebody has to fund the stage. So the question is, do local economies all of a sudden have a much bigger impact on recruiting? And especially here, we're talking about LSU football. Now, unfortunately, I think Louisiana is, as Jesse McCormick's point on the chat, like the 50th ranked economy in the country, which is entirely too depressing of a thought to really dive into here on a Wednesday morning sports show. But there's one thing that we do besides oil, gas, chemicals, and tourism. It's chicken. We got 3 major chicken empires when you're looking at Popeyes, Cane's, and Crispy Crunchy. And I know that the empires have been at war for quite some time now, okay? They are at odds with one another. Todd Graves, have had you on the radio before. I need to get in contact with the leaders of Crispy Crunchy and Popeyes, but this is a public plea for the Triforce to unite, for the Father, Son, and the Holy Chicken to become one, and to fund LSU football to even greater heights. Influence is huge right now, right? Right? It's where you should be sticking your marketing dollars anyway. I'm sure you're hitting up kids on Instagram to push your new chicken sandwich. Hell, Crispy Crunchy, I know you do a lot of advertising with my old man. Be done with him. Shift that funding to LSU football, okay? It's time for the chickens to come together, right? Dick Lipsy, huh? I know you love LSU football. You have been very public about that. You were also very well on it. Like, it is interesting. Like, these are the conversations that start to take place. People trying to convince local businesses, local successful people, they're like, no, like, you have to put this money into getting into security deals to these players, and they'll want to come play here. This is the evolution, at least I think, right? I could be wrong. That's what I think we should say about this. This is the direction I see it going, but I could be completely wrong here. This is all so new and unknown that it could take many different directions. Also, the ripple effects from this, I am not smart enough to comprehend or foresee. So who knows where this all ends up, but this is kind of the direction that I see it potentially going. And then what if you're like us, right? You're not a business owner. You don't have a ton of disposable income for this. Would you donate to a PAC? Like, Danny Mara, I don't know. Where's your support of LSU football? If somebody was like, look, like, let's say you're doing one of those Dan Lambert fundraisers, okay? Every dollar that you give me, I will give to a business who will then give back to a player. And this could be like a small grassroots political campaign, like $5, $10. Would you throw $10 in the bucket?
I don't think I personally would, but I would encourage lots of people to do it.
Hell yeah.
I've given LSU enough of my, time,
Me too.
money, and energy. So.
Me too. As I'm calling for the chicken empires and Dick Lipsy to give all their money, you're right. I don't know how much I'd be willing to give you there. What about you, Danny?
Yeah, I'm on the same page as Mario. I've given too much money to them already, so.
I mean, dude, look, I'm thinking I would, if you greased me up, you have one of these fundraising events, I'm a few drinks down, had a couple tasty chicken sandwiches. Like, I could sign a piece of paper, maybe give $100 to one of these packs or something, and try to keep LSU football relevant. Which way will it go? We'll see.
Yeah, LSU football doesn't need to do all that to stay relevant, unlike Miami.
Not now. But we are talking long term here, right?
Yeah.
All these fears I'm talking about being economically outstripped. This is nothing like in the immediate. These are all long term, maybe absurd, maybe not, sort of fears. All right, hour 1 of the books. Hour 2 is coming up next. Get your Would You Rather questions in. And we got Pete Werner.
Off
Peyton
the
Turner.
bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to Ochsner.org today. Appropriate that we're having 2 Saints draft picks on next hour when we're talking about Ochsner because they are the pros, right? And you want to use the same doctor's facilities that the pros use, and you get that at Ochsner. Whether you're in Baton Rouge, the North Shore, New Orleans, there's a common denominator between the 3 locations, and that is the investment in you. They leave no stone unturned when it comes to maximizing your health. And I've had tons of surgeries, so I know what separates, okay? And I've seen it all firsthand. The investment in the facilities is incredible. Pre-op, the new ORs, post-op, even to the point where they're painting the hallways with like expensive antimicrobial paint to fight against infection, copper-infused blankets, all that kind of stuff. But what are equipment if you don't staff with the right people? And that's where they have the best doctors, the best physical therapists. And so stop putting it off. If you have any sort of nagging issue, something you want to get checked out, go into Ochsner. Let them be your guide to getting right and get back that quality of life that you want to have again. Go to Ochsner.org today.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, middle relief, and after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Ochsner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Ochsner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Ochsner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning, everybody. It's 8 a.m. on Wednesday, July 7th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see cloudy skies with a high of 82. In case you missed hour 1 of the show, you can now catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. Coming up in hour number 2 of Off the Bench, we had the latest edition of Would You Rather Wednesday, and Saints defensive end and first-round draft pick Peyton Turner joins the show at 8:30. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN. Watch us live on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel. Subscribe and set your notifications. You can also check us out on CST. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Welcome back, OTB. The messages are firing crazy about how to keep up with the elitists, right? As Jesse McCormick points out in the chat, one thing that Louisiana's always been good at least historically, is populism, right? There's almost time for like a Bernie Sanders sort of approach. A sleepy giant, as Jesse says, here in Louisiana are going to be these small donors. We need populism to compete with the elitism of USC and Oregon and Texas. Now, that's going to be a fascinating Pac-12 battle to watch play out, right? Is going to be USC and Oregon. Did I see this earlier? Emil in the chat saying that already Kayvon Thibodeau's been given a 6-figure deal from Nike for a memorabilia deal over this next year while he's in school. Look that up real quick, Mario, and see if we can get some details there. Because certainly USC is going to look like they offer a ton of economic opportunities. And just, again, they don't care about USC football, but the number of people there are so overwhelming that you still have a lot of raw number of people that do, right? So per capita, they might not care as much. There's still millions that do. There's still a lot more money out there. And so does this reawaken USC? What does Phil Knight and Nike have to say about that at Oregon? Like, those pockets go pretty deep as well. And then what about Texas? If this can't bring Texas back, then I don't know if anything can, right? Austin's got all the money in the world. They do care per capita about Texas football a ton. If this can't solve Texas's woes, then I don't know that they will ever come back. Coming up this hour on OTB, very excited, man. It's time to talk to some Saints draft picks. At 8:27, we got Peyton Turner, first-round pick, massive Star Wars nerd. Is anything closer to my heart than somebody who's a first-round pick in the NFL and also had over 400 Star Wars toys growing up? Because that sounds like me. It sounds a lot like me. So I can't wait to talk to Turner. Then we got Pete Werner kicking off hour number 3 at 9 a.m. We got Would You Rather Wednesday coming up next. If you want to get all of life's most perplexing conundrums in the chat, we will answer them next. How about this? Did y'all see what's going on in the Mall, Louisiana yesterday?
I did.
You heard about old Kara the Python?
Apparently, she's really friendly.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know. If you run a zoo, I imagine you love the animals, and so I imagine you say a python's pretty damn friendly. I'm not saying it's not. It's not venomous. I have no problem with snakes, but I know people that do have a problem with snakes who maybe argue that point. But yeah, if you missed the story, which I'd be shocked if you did. So Blue Zoo Aquarium is something that's been in the mall for a while now, right? My wife's been wanting to bring the kids. I guess it's like a live animal exhibit in the mall, which we can just take a second and appreciate the nostalgia therein. A live animal exhibit in the mall, including an aquarium portion where a woman dresses up like a mermaid and swims underwater for the kids. I mean, there is something wonderfully 1980s about that, right? Like in a less cynical age or a less vitriolic age, where we didn't have people yelling on Twitter about how wrong this was and everything. And I'm not here to hash out that conversation, so I don't really care. All I'm pointing out is there's something wonderfully old school about a live animal exhibit at the mall, even more so when one of the animals escapes. And yesterday was just a news day for the ages, right? This is local news gold right here. And then maybe my favorite line, I was reading all about it, and maybe my favorite line from the article is that mall officials says, while they awaited updates, Mall official tells reporters inside a toddler play area near the aquarium. So not only are we talking about live animal exhibits in the mall, not only is there an escaped python on the loose, they had to shut down Trident Mall fine, but now we're keeping the reporters in a playpen. It's just wonderful from every single angle. It's absolutely wonderful. Now the snake is still missing. It was a nocturnal creature. They were hoping to find it overnight. Maybe I've missed some updates now that the show has started, but we'll continue to try to update you on the status of Kara. My question to you boys, if you are a snake and you're in the mall, where are you going? Where are you hitting up? I think that yesterday on TikTok, Hold the Mayo made a great point in that in terms of people who may have taken the snake, looking at Hot Topic and Spencer's would be a great place to start as far as suspects are concerned. Great call, Devin Snow. Hold it. Mario, what about you? Your snake, where are you going?
They do like warm, dark places, so that would fit Hot Topic. They also have a food court, so don't eat any people. Go have some Raisin Canes or something. I'd probably hit up the food court.
Bro, you're not going to the food court for the chicken. You're going to the food court for the mice.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, come on, dude. You know there's some big old juicy boys hanging out back there. So, yeah, I'm thinking if I'm a snake, I'm heading to the food court, munching down a little family of Mises, just eating them things up. And then, I don't know, man. Like you said, dark, right? I don't know if these stores are still in the mall, but I feel like Abercrombie and Hollister were always very poorly lit. Like really hard to see it. So you just find a little corner of Abercrombie, you cuddle up under a pile of T-shirts. I feel like that'd be a pretty comfortable little snake hole. I will say this, though. Licking the air in an Abercrombie might be a little intense. A lot of cheap cologne in there. You're going to get hit with some fierce that might upset your senses a little bit. So as a snake, that would be the only thing that would maybe cause me, a little cause for concern. But otherwise, yeah, back of a Hollister, hell yeah, dude. And then I just sneak out at night and I eat more rats in the food court. And it's a win for everybody.
There has to be a lot of mice just like crawling around, I feel like, in isolated areas of the mall.
And look, that's not even a shot at food courts, right? I think every place with food just has like some level of that. The Mises just know how to get in. Going to Alexander said he's going to the bottom of the Build-A-Bear stuffing machine. I mean, that would be really comfortable, and I guess it would be dark. Would you be worried about suffocating? I don't know. I guess I don't really know even how snakes breathe. Yes, and as Jay Parker points out, if anyone knows anything about the dangers of licking the air to smell, it's Tom Bombo, who's my D&D character on the night shift, my D&D show, which debuts in 5 days. I'm going to continue to hype it up. Get ready, folks. It's going to be great. All right. Continue to let me know where you're going to go if you're that python. I hope they find him today. I do feel bad for the Blue Zoo, as their chief marketing officer said, quote, "This is like if we lost our child." Well, Rhonda, we're with you again. This story has pleased me to the depths of my soul. I can't help but think about stuff like Anchorman, where they're on Panda Watch or something like that. I'm just thinking about the pool of reporters, Bess Casterly and everybody else, just being like next to the toddler slide as they desperately await updates to figure out where Kara the Python has gotten off to. All right, coming up next, Would You Rather Wednesday. We're going to get out a bit early here because we got Peyton Turner coming up at 9:27. Can't wait. Talk to the first-round pick of your New Orleans Saints. What's it been like taking these first steps in the NFL? All that. Look, if you're watching on YouTube, like it, share it, all that good stuff. It helps out. We'll be back with more Off the Bench on the other side.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go to GEAUXroof.com. It spells Go Roof. People in this part of the country know that, right? And that title, that name, Go Roof, GEAUX, should show you that they are members of the community and they care about the community, right? They want to run a successful business, but they're not out here trying to maximize profit. They're out here trying to maximize the community. They're out here trying to maximize customer satisfaction. That's why they offer things like a free professional estimate. So let's say a storm rolls through, right? And you're not sure if you have damage or not. You call 927-8300. They come out there for free. They let you know exactly where you stand, and then you make a fully informed decision about what to do next. If insurance covers it, it's a big job, great. If not, they can find monthly payment options to work with you. And when you work with Go Roof, you're going to figure out you get a beautiful new roof every shingle time. You're also going to have peace of mind throughout. They offer a 2-year workmanship guarantee on top of the manufacturer warranty once the work is done. Go to GEAUXroof.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Introducing Vizzy Lemonade, the only lemonade hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C. All new Vizzy Lemonade. Step up your seltzer game.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Coming up on a Wednesday edition of Middle Relief, we recap Game 1 of the NBA Finals, talk some LSU football as we'll be 59 days away from the season opener, and a whole lot more. Middle Relief, 12 to 3 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
A little Latin flair today, boys. Loving it. Very appropriate for our excellent producers, Danny Cardenas and Mario Rez. All right, let's go ahead and dive in to a little Would You Rather Wednesday.
Okay, which would you rather be?
Now, what superpower would you rather have?
The question is, would you rather date the blind or the deaf?
Would you rather drown or be burned alive?
Would you rather be overpaid
or underrated?
Rather you just said thank you and went on your way.
All right. Would you rather give constructive criticism to Michael Jordan or Gordon Ramsay?
Michael Jordan. I'd rather get punched in the face than to get roasted by Gordon Ramsay. I've seen him do that to some people. Not pretty.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I just want to interact with Michael Jordan, right? Like, ultimately, just getting punched by Michael Jordan's a way better story than getting dressed down by Gordon Ramsay. So I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm going. No, actually, I'm going Gordon Ramsay.
Why's that? Just to be different, or do you have any sort of reasoning behind it?
I just to be different, and I'm on a Gordon Ramsay fling. I'm watching a lot of Kitchen Nightmares.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every time.
You're trying to improve that long noodle game.
Yeah.
What do you think Gordon would say about your long? You're like, Gordon, you're doing it all wrong, man. You got to finish it in the sauce.
Is Gordon Ramsay the Michael Jordan of celebrity chefs?
I don't
Or would
think
that
so,
be like
dude.
Fieri or somebody?
I do feel like we're giving him I mean, Gordon Ramsay's great. I don't know that I'm the one to speak about who the singular celebrity chef would be. And yeah, probably sure. I guess Gordon Ramsay's probably like top 4 or something, but I don't think about him as unparalleled as Jordan is. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, does Fieri count? He does have restaurants and everything, and he's obviously a chef, but
It's Fieri.
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
He's definitely a celebrity. I mean,
No, 100% a celebrity chef, I guess. But like Gordon feels like more of a chef, whereas Fieri feels like more of an entertainer / host.
I'll give you that. Might just be the accent, but yeah.
Well, Gordon Ramsay, he's never hosted like Minute to Win It and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And even on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dash, it's not like, Fieri's not doing the cooking. It doesn't. This is a stupid conversation. Would you rather have the best tennis grunt or the best umpire strikeout move?
Oh, umpire.
Yeah, it's not even close, right?
Umpire, yeah.
It's got to be such a good feeling to ring someone up on a big one when the crowd's going to go crazy when I mean, I would be basking in that thing, dude. I'd be building it up like, just hear that crowd all go crazy at once. Would you rather spend the rest of your, maybe we'll come back to this. Would you rather hummus or tzatziki sauce?
Never had tzatziki sauce.
You never had gyro? Tzatziki?
Mm-mm.
Little delicious white, is it like cilantro in there?
Not a
What's
huge,
in there?
not a huge hummus guy, so I'd probably prefer that.
So yeah, so maybe the Mediterranean food just not really your bag either way. What about you, Danny? Hummus or tzatziki?
I'm going hummus. I like hummus.
Hummus is a great snack, but I like tzatziki better. Would you rather be rich enough to be the bag man or talented enough to get the bag?
I think I'd rather be the bag man. Seems like less stress.
Yeah, I agree, especially now that it's been legalized, right? And you don't even have to deal with like the guilt of maybe like getting the program in trouble or getting any players in trouble. Yeah, let me be the guy like Dan Lambert who has $540,000 to commit to this year's Miami team. Like this year's Miami team that will probably go 8-3, 8-4. Probably go like 8-4. Gonna get smoked by Alabama game 1. And my man Dan Lambert's paying him $540K. Damn.
Yep.
Wow.
If they're not good, he could be like, not my fault. I did my part.
Yeah. Would you rather die to... Well, that's the most interesting part about his investment. It's not really about making this year's team good. Like, all it is about showing that if you come here, this is what awaits you. Like, it is truly an investment in the future. It's an investment in marketing for the U. Would you rather die to snake venom or be crushed by a snake's grip?
How appropriate.
Yeah. I mean,
they're both horrible.
Yeah, both sound absolutely horrible. I'm gonna go snake venom because if a snake physically dominated to the point where it choked me to death, I just would feel a little salty. I'd be a little upset with myself. Like, you get bit by a snake, you get venomized. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
You can't really suck that venom out. But if I'm like so asleep or something goes wrong that I let this snake wind up around my neck and choke me out, I'm a bit upset with myself at that point. I got to get back in the film room.
Yeah, give me the venom. Just embrace sweet death instead of getting crushed. I feel like it's a lot better.
Yeah, but the venom, I think you go through severe pain and you start sweating. Isn't there a bunch of bad?
Yeah, probably. Symptoms? Yeah, absolutely.
It's horrible feeling.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Like if you get choked down the neck, maybe you're asleep and then you just wake up and you're choking, and before you know it, you kind of black out and then it's all done. Either way, I can't be going out to a snake. Not in 2021. Horrible. Horrible. Would you rather live in a house that was infested with a snake den or a house that's infested with spiders? Snakes, 10 times out of 10. Not even close. They're bigger, easier to see. A bunch of little baby spiders creeping around is like you have to burn the house down at that point. It's not, no close.
So does it matter if they're venomous snakes or
No.
killer snakes?
No, because I feel like you can get rid of the snakes easier. Like, I will never be able to convince myself that there aren't tiny little spiders hanging out in all the corners of the room and everywhere else.
Yeah, the snakes would be easier to eliminate for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, dude.
Well, what about like rattlesnakes?
Okay,
and, like, venomous snakes
yes,
and
if
like
it's like
anacondas.
rattlesnake, yes, if it's like I don't think anacondas are venomous. I think that's a choke you out one. But if it's like rattlesnakes versus daddy long legs, sure, I'll take daddy long legs. But I'm assuming we're going venom on venom here. So rattlesnake nest or black widow nest in the house, Danny? Where you go?
Rattlesnake.
Yeah, exactly. You go with the rattlesnake. Exactly. Plus, you can hear them things. It's not your vibe. Would you rather rip out a tooth or rip off a fingernail?
Probably rip out a tooth.
No way, bro. What the hell?
Fingernail be painful, man.
A fingernail would be horrible, but a tooth, like exposed nerves in your gums.
Yeah,
and
but you could
everything
at least close your mouth and kind of soothe the pain.
Oof.
If your nail is ripped off, that's an open wound that can get infected. That's
Yeah, bro, put a Band-Aid on it. Put a Band-Aid on it. Yeah, get some hydrogen peroxide, even though it's that. Somebody tried to tell me hydrogen peroxide isn't good anymore. I don't know. Whatever. Get some Neosporin and a Band-Aid, and you'll be fine. Trust me, I've lost my right big toenail like 5 or 6 times. It's horrible, but it's doable. Teeth ripped out? No, thank you. Would you rather have a lightsaber or a Harry Potter wand?
both great for costumes.
Harry Potter wand.
Yeah. You're right, Danny. I want to hear your reason, though, because I have very clear reasoning here.
Having lightsabers is really cool, but you can do more stuff with the wand.
Danny, that's why I love you. I think you've hit the nail on the head. The functionality of a wand, infinitely preferable to having a weapon that could, like, literally cut your limb off at any time. Like, if you're looking down the barrel of a lightsaber and you accidentally flick it on, you're just sending one through the dome and you're dead. If you have a Harry Potter wand, you break a glass, reparo, and that glass is fixed. Right? You never have to clean anymore. You don't have to pay for maids or anything. Just la de la balaboo. Wingardium Leviosa, making things float. Crucio, torturing people. A lot of advantages. Final one here. Would you rather have a stand-up arcade cabinet that could play any video game, or a handheld where you could choose your 10 all-time favorites?
Probably the handheld. That'd be cool.
And let's say for the stand-up arcade thing, that you're not allowed to play your 10 all-time favorites, right? Otherwise, they would just be included in there anyway. Handheld would be nice, but I think the scope of having every game ever, especially in a stand-up arcade cabinet, which is just so much fun in some sort of man cave situation, give me the stand-up arcade cabinet.
Yeah, give me the cabinet.
It's a good point by Rosie Finch Boys. T-Bob, you can't get a wand because you would end 95% of Central Plumbing's business. That's right. Or you just wave my wand. There you go. All right, that's Would You Rather Wednesday. Coming up next, Saints first-round pick Peyton Turner. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. Look, if you want to sell your car, All-Star Toyota wants to buy it. There has never been a better time. The market is as high as it will ever be when you're talking about selling, okay? And then what about if you want to buy? Well, whether you're looking for a Toyota certified used vehicle, maybe you want a new 2021, they have great deals there. Maybe you want to lease, right? Like I bought that minivan, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere we need another car. And I didn't go in there with a car in mind. I went in there with a number, and they found the perfect answer for me, and it was leasing a brand new Camry. So, like, just let them be your guide in the car buying wilderness, which will be very overwhelming. Also, remember, if you need a rent for a summer trip or something, All-Star renting from them is cheaper than traditional rental companies. You can try out things like the Sienna, see if you want to join the minivan gang, join myself in the Sienna crew. It's a great crew to be a part of. Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com today.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-85.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. LSU has a new pitching coach. We'll tell you all about Jason Kelly and Game 1 of the NBA Finals. We'll recap it. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome back. OTB. Waiting for Peyton Turner right now. Should be calling in any minute now. Really excited to talk to Turner. Not only just because he's the first-round pick of the New Orleans Saints. Very important one for that. A very interesting one. At that, if you just look at recent Saints draft history, right? What has been the most kind of disappointing Saints draft moment in a while? I guess in terms of how it's played out, not maybe when it happened, because drafts have been really good overall lately. Incredible even at times. But you can't help but go back to the Marcus Davenport pick, right? A pick where you end up spending 2 first-round picks to get Davenport. He has not lived up to that billing yet. And yet here in a year when Turner was kind of flying under the radar with mocks, and look, I agree that the draft is such a weird thing to judge from the outside looking in, because here on this side, like us as the people, I don't mean us in the media, I mean like us as fans, right? We're not really watching film, right? I'll throw in a couple highlight tapes of guys we're talking about. I'm only seeing the best. I'm not diving into like the full game film of Peyton Turner versus Rice, right? And so what ends up happening, there's a few voices that do. Those voices have a platform, and so nothing is better. Or it leads you to kind of groupthink, right? Where, okay, well, who's the big draft? Daniel Jeremiah said this, and that this team's looking for this, and so surely this must be the pick. And then, so even though if you're being honest with yourself, you don't really know anything about the guy, you still get upset when they don't end up picking that player or like your favorite player for your school, like whatever. So it was interesting then to see Turner a couple of years after the Davenport pick, where people were pretty upset. You draft another guy who's a bit unheralded at that same position. And I got to say, I don't know how it's going to play out. Again, I watched the highlight tapes. I think he has a high motor. I think that obviously physically he's a bit of a specimen, but I do think that he remains a bit of a project as well. I also think that when you're talking about stepping up from the competition that he faced at Houston to then stepping up to the competition that he faced in the NFL, that he's going to face, there's a pretty big gap between those two settings. Like if you talk to guys from the SEC to the NFL, the jump is not nearly as drastic. I mean, for whatever it's worth, right? I spent a cup of coffee in the league, a few months, training camp, all that, right? Even for me, I didn't feel like, oh, this is like just crazy. I've never seen anything like this. It was just that once you got to that point, you're talking about an NFL roster, all the players who, like in college, every now and then you'd face a dog, right? And then once you got to the league, all of a sudden the players, it was kind of like everybody was that dog. But it wasn't something that you hadn't seen or were not prepared for. Do we have Turner or Werner right here? Okay, we got P. Okay, hell yeah. Okay, a little switch up then. Okay, we got Pete Werner coming up. A little switch. Hopefully we can get in touch with Peyton Turner. Mario, give me a thumbs up whenever. We got him right now? Yo, Pete, what's going on, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Dude, what's up, dude? Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're talking to the 60th overall pick in the 2021 draft. Pete Werner come here to play linebacker in New Orleans. Help out this Saints crew. Pete, let's just start here. Draft night or draft day, how are you taking it in? What were the emotions going through you when you got that call that you were heading to NOLA?
Man, it was a crazy night, flow of emotions. I get a call from some Las Vegas number, so I'm like, wow, I'm about to go to the Raiders, and then I hear the Saints on the phone, and I didn't really understand, didn't take it all in until a few nights later. But great night with my family. 2 nights after that, and it really started to hit me when I touched down in New Orleans and started going in from there.
Yeah, and so it's been an interesting process, at least outside looking in terms of the Saints, how they've approached this offseason. Obviously, I think you're probably happy to be here when you're not in the full COVID restricted age, like last offseason where, rookies are having to get acclimated through like Zoom meetings and whatnot. What has been your experience in terms of the day-to-day affairs, right? What so far has been the biggest difference between what you experienced at Ohio State and now what you're experiencing with a professional organization like the Saints? Did we lose him? Pete, did you accidentally hit the mute button on your cheek? I have fat cheeks. That happens to me sometimes. Pete, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, my bad, dude. Okay, so I don't know what happened there, but what's been the biggest difference between kind of your day-to-day at Ohio State and now your day-to-day in the NFL?
Gotcha. So it's been
Yeah. Okay. Look, Pete, we're gonna call you back. Something's going on with the phone. It's kind of messing up there. I don't know if it's on your end, our end. I don't know what exactly the deal is. I don't even know, Mario. I don't know if it's worth it at this point. He could call us back. Sure, maybe we could tell him to. This has been a disaster in terms of things that I was really excited about to now blowing up in my face. I mean, like a little doe-eyed boy on Christmas, I was just so ecstatic to talk to Peyton Turner about having over 400 Star Wars figures as a kid and Star Wars questions, and talked to Pete Werner about being a 9-inch king as, 6'3", 240, 9-inch hands, very much after my own heart. Werner on Demario Davis. I guess these are just the trials of live radio.
Yeah, I would have liked to ask him about the Ohio State connection too.
Yeah. Well, look, it's not all for naught. We're gonna regroup. It might be Pete right there. Let's see if it works out this time. All right, we got Pete back. All right, Mario, we got Pete back. We good to go now? All right, dude, let's do it. Pete, what's up, dude? I'm sorry about this, man. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know. Like, okay, whatever. I'll just ask you a question again. Ohio State, daily life versus Saints, daily life. Like, what's it like?
Did you guys hear my previous response?
No, both times, right? When you started to talk, it completely cut off. So good. Hey, look, Pete, you got to workshop the answer now. This is the third time, so you can change things about it.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was just saying before how Saints has such a professional feel to it. You're not told where to go, where to be, like Ohio State. You got to be so accountable at Ohio State, and with the Saints, you're getting paid to play there. So you're expected to do things, and yeah, I just like the feel. It's not too crazy. You don't have to be at the facility for 10 hours a day at Ohio State like you did. Like I have to do now. So I've been there for a month, and it's been awesome. Learning a lot, meeting a lot of great guys. So I'm just looking forward to be back for training camp July 25th.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Everything you just said there was even echoed by Janoris Jenkins recently, where he was on a podcast talking about like all the organizations that he played for and how the Saints are elite for just that reason, right? Like they treat you like an adult. Like, yeah, this is the pros, man. You got to show up. You got to do your thing. Pete, for you entering the pros, you enter with a lot of expectation on your shoulders, and not just because you had like a stellar college career, first team All Big Ten, all that kind of stuff, but like there's a large portion of the Saints fan base that is expecting you to play and play right away. Is that something that you kind of engage with when you look at your role and here in year number one?
Of course, and being a second round pick, you got that pressure behind your back, but you got to take responsibility. When your number is called, you got to go out and compete and earn everything that you do. So I'm just excited to get my name called, and the spots that I'm put in, the situations that I'm put in the games or whatever. I'm ready to compete because of the high expectations I've been given.
One thing that's also, I think, always fantastic, right? Like we've certainly been thinking about this with your counterpart, Peyton Turner, as well as you enter a room with a couple of legends, right? For Turner, it's Cam Jordan. For you, it's Demario Davis. We're talking about like a multi-time NFL All-Pro linebacker. What's it like all of a sudden going from, you're the big dog at Ohio State, and then now you're sharing a room with an alpha among NFL guys?
Yeah, it's a weird feeling at the start. I mean, you talk about a 23-year-old kid talking to a bunch of 30-year-olds with 4 kids and in a room. It's like, how do I relate to this dude? How can I talk to this dude and ask good enough questions for him to actually sit there and listen to me? So it's been great to have the opportunity to pick somebody like Demario's brain. It's great to be in the room with his leadership. I've learned that from these guys that your work ethic and how you earn every little thing that you do is going to be the way that gains their trust. So that's what I'm trying to do as much as possible.
We're talking to Pete Werner, 60th overall pick in the 2021 draft, Saints linebacker. Pete, it's been an interesting offseason for the Saints where they've kind of eschewed the traditional mini camps and OTAs, at least from the outside reporting, right? Which is tough. We're trying to describe like the room by looking through a keyhole. But the reports seem to be that there's been like less on the field work, maybe more weight room and classroom sort of work. What has been the kind of schedule and experience thus far in the offseason?
Gotcha. So we didn't really put on a helmet or anything. The only time I put on a helmet was back for rookie minicamp. But once we got into OTAs and minicamp, it was all maybe 7-on-7 based, a lot of individual work, a lot of work with just linebackers and workouts at the beginning. So I would get there and I would have a workout at the beginning, and then go to individual drills, and then would have meetings in the afternoon. But there was nothing physically like tolling on your body. It was just it was a mental game. I mean, I had 3 or 4 weeks to learn a lot of different plays, a lot of the defense, and now I've just been studying that leading up till the start of training camp. But nothing too crazy in your body, and it was a pretty cool process.
It's kind of wild coming from college, isn't it? I mean, I don't know how you did things at Ohio State, but like back in the old Les Miles days at LSU, I mean, we're talking like full padded, 3-hour practices every single day. It's Sean Payton does things a little bit differently, huh?
He does, and I'm starting to like it. Nothing like Ohio State banging heads, Oklahoma drill, all that type of stuff. It's got a nice feel to it.
How about this? I feel like a lot of times when you're talking about making that jump from college to the NFL, it is the mental aspect that can be the most daunting or just the toughest, right? The biggest challenge.
Right.
Is that kind of what you're seeing, experiencing?
100%. The guys that do well that I've learned from are the ones that have the strong mental side of the game. The guys that know where they're at, where they're supposed to go, can recognize certain formations and know exactly what's going to happen. The smart guys are the ones that make it. And obviously, the physicality part helps, but it is for sure a mental game. It's just so much more complex than at the college level. That if that mental side of the game is not right, then you won't be able to produce. But yes, that's 100% the one thing that I've learned that's very important.
Where do they have you repping right now, Pete, in terms of position?
They have me at the will spot right now.
Okay. I know just like from reading draft profiles like back in the day and stuff, a lot of people projecting you as a Sam. How do you kind of feel about playing the weak side spot?
Well, I played it my senior year in college, and there has some carryovers, but I was out in space a lot early years in college playing a Sam linebacker, but having this past year being a will linebacker, that has helped me out a bunch. So I'm very excited to have that carryover. So again, very excited about that.
Dude, have you ever been to the Superdome or a Saints game or anything?
Have I been?
Yeah.
The only time I was there is when we played Clemson in the Superdome this past year, and we beat them. So I got some good vibes heading into New Orleans. But that was the one time I played there, and I loved it.
Okay, hell yeah, dude. Okay, so yeah, you've already made plays on that field. You got plenty more coming up this fall. Okay, allow me to wrap up with a very, very sports talky question here. Have you had or if you have you had a kind of welcome to the NFL moment where you were kind of struck where like, okay, this is the contrast. Like, this is how things are going to be different from here on out.
You know, I'm going to go back, not anything particular now. I'm sure I will when I see training camp, but throughout OTAs and minicamp, I mean, it was just so individually focused, just showing up, lifting, and then working out, and then you're kind of done from there after a lot of meetings. But I'm sure when I get to training camp and have to do a bunch of things that rookies are supposed to do in the NFL, I'll understand that this is kind of how it goes. But as of now, I haven't really had that moment other than showing up the first day and having to do a long conditioning test and then doing it right when I had to leave. So
fun.
That was fun. But I'm sure training camp is going to be the defining moment, and that's what I'm going to be looking forward to.
What was the conditioning test at Ohio State? Were y'all running 110s or 300s or something?
It was pretty similar to the Saints. We were running 300s, and we had to do 2 of them. At the Saints, we have to do 3 of them, but we just have a longer time you got to make your time and longer amount.
Okay, last one here, Pete, for real this time. But what about New Orleans, man? I know, like you said, a lot of time in the facility, you're so hyper-focused. You got all this pressure on you. Have you been able to kind of see the city at all yet?
Yeah, I have. And, I've gone out with Peyton and Ian and Paulson, all those guys. I've gone out and gone to places to eat. We had to walk down Bourbon Street, obviously, one time to see what that's about. But that was a good time. But yeah, there's a bunch of good spots to eat. So we got some time off in the afternoon. So we would always go out to eat. And I've never been a big seafood guy. So now, I I came back to Indy and ordered salmon at dinner, and I was like, what am I doing? I'm not a seafood guy.
Oh, man, a changed man already. Yeah, you got to get a fried shrimp po' boy, bro, for sure. Pete Werner,
exactly.
60th overall pick, Ohio State great, now on your New Orleans Saints. Pete, thank you so much for waking up with us this morning and kind of shuffling around last minute.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, Pete, take it easy, bro. All right, when we get back, we'll close out hour number 2. Hopefully, we can re-hook up with Peyton Turner to kick off hour number 3. We will see. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org. 925-8552 is the number, 925-8552 for all of your plumbing needs, man, okay? Anything goes wrong, you call that number, 925-8552, and don't lift a finger, okay? Don't even think twice. Don't sweat it. You call that number, Central Plumbing can solve the issue no matter what it is. Simple, complex, it doesn't matter. And they got flat rate pricing, right? So it's not going to out of nowhere be like, oh, well, you owe this amount of money. What? Where that no surprise or hidden fees? Everybody's licensed, bond insured. Great warranty after the work is done. 30 days on service work, a year on new installations. So, again, I've trusted them for years. They've been at it for nearly 5 decades, y'all. And you don't make it 5 decades unless your customers are consistently satisfied and you are consistently solving their problems. And that's what they do at Central Plumbing. Also, you want to check out generators, they got that. Go to centralplumbing.org today, 925-8552, Central Plumbing.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Middle Relief, and after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com.
Coming up on a Wednesday edition of Middle Relief, we recap Game 1 of the NBA Finals, talk some LSU football as we'll be 59 days away from the season opener, and a whole lot more. Middle Relief, 12 to 3 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
William Ivey says, tell Pete, Saints will drop a second rounder if he doesn't bring it. The funny part is he's actually not wrong. It's one of the great parts of the Peyton era is they have very much been beholden to the idea that it's not about how you got there. It is simply about what your output is, right? We've seen it before in the past. Now, Stanley Jean-Baptiste probably hung on a little bit longer than he should have because of that second round selection. But, like, what's the old famous example with Pierre Thomas? Didn't they draft
Antonio Pittman. Yeah, Antonio Pittman in the 4th round.
Okay, yeah, so a 4th-round pick, a guy that generally has a pretty good chance of making that roster. Again, when it comes to that guy versus an undrafted guy, most of the time the 4th-round pick's going to get the reps and everything, but famously, Pierre Thomas just outperformed him, which is tough to do from Thomas's situation, again, because now maybe he was also killing him in the classroom until they started giving the reps to Thomas, but like a lot of times it's tough to get the reps to then prove it, right? Because reps are so precious in the NFL when you're talking about a camp scenario, if you're trying to make the team or if you're trying to make the roster. Now, Pete Warner, Marcus Davenport, they're not going to have any trouble with that. But think about what Janoris Jenkins was talking about the other day in the Raw room, right? Where he was like, look, man, there's like, and it's a little different in camp, but it's like 4 plays, then the next group's up. Then 4 plays, then the next group's up. No repeats, no BS. And so you have to be sharp. And you may say, well, T-Bob, is that really like representative of a football game? Is that okay to try to decide these rosters, such a limited kind of play scope from which to develop? Now, I think it's of two minds. Obviously, that kind of adds up over time. But more so, what I find fascinating, and this is something that, quite frankly, I think I failed at when trying to make the NFL, is that they want to push you to these moments where your job is on the line and you're only going to have a couple of opportunities to prove that you deserve that job, right? I've always talked about it. My own time in the league. I was up there in St. Louis, spent a summer up there, OTAs, rookie minicamp, all that, training camp, survived the first few rounds of cuts, made it to final cut day. The night before final cut day, what do you have? The 4th preseason game. I was lucky. I got a lot of reps, right? I think I got like 13 plays. Me and this other guy were battling for that backup center job. I choked. It was a bad 13 plays. Maybe some of the worst 13 plays that I've ever played. In a normal game, I've had that happen before. You have a couple bad series. Okay, you got to flush it. You got to move on. You come back, you dominate the rest of the game. You're not necessarily given that opportunity in that fell, but it's kind of ingenious in how it works. Because again, what it is testing extends beyond simply your physical aptitude, and it gets into your mental aptitude, right? It's not just can you do it physically, because when you're talking about a league, everybody can do it physically. If you're even in the roster competitions, right? If you're on the 90-man roster that you bring to camp or bring through the summer, physically, you can get it done. That's not normally where the separation lies. Now, you always have your outliers, you have your freaks, but a lot of times, physically, everybody's going to be pretty bunched up. It's the mental aspect. Do you know what to do, and can you do it under pressure? And so when you're talking about some of these later round draft picks, and not Turner, I mean, I know what William's saying there, but it is a bit tongue-in-cheek. Like, your second round pick, even if he sucks, you're keeping him around for a while and trying to make that work. Now, maybe you can move on after a year or something, but you're not moving on before year one's even up. And I think that would be bad business to do so, give this guy an opportunity. But if you are these later round picks, you're not going to get a ton of reps. So when you do, you want to make this 53-man roster, you have to take advantage of them. It's one of the reasons why, if you really care, although I find that I think I like this in conception more than in practice, if you really care, it is the most interesting part about the preseason, is watching the third and the fourth quarters where, okay, X player might get 1 or 2 series. That 1 or 2 series is the difference between him making $500K a year or maybe even over $100K on Practice Squad a year than having to go get an entry-level job in whatever business he got his degree in, or general studies, right? Or radio, like whatever the case may be. So there's a ton of line. Although I always build those games up with that sort of romanticism, and I never watch the second half. I just can't bring myself to care enough, unfortunately. Like, fascinating human drama in the margins. I just can't quite get my hooks into it. Okay, coming up next hour, we're hoping to hear from Peyton Turner. We're going to stay on our toes here. We are on Turner watch. If he calls back, then we'll get him on. He could be calling in at any time. We are going to talk to Stephen Godfrey as we now live, again, in the age of the legitimized bagman. What does it mean for college sports? Godfrey knows. Keep it locked. OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to RejuveMeMedical.com. RejuveMeMedical.com is your anti-aging clinic, okay? And I don't care if you are in Baton Rouge, Denham Springs, Metairie, they have locations for you. They understand the aging process. They understand how to fix it, and they use a unique process. So, like, the first step is you're going to meet with a lifestyle consultant, and you're going to both go over how you're living, okay? Then they're going to draw your labs. Your blood contains a ton of information that helps them then customize a holistic plan for you. Lifestyle changes that they need to take place. Maybe HRT, hormone replacement therapy, maybe not. The point is they do a full gathering to customize a plan again for you. This is not you being railroaded into one size fits all, because that's not how it works, and they understand that. So I don't care if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever the case may be, male, female. If you want to get back to having that energy, being your youthful self, you want Rejuve Me Medical. Go to RejuveMeMedical.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
In the sunshine, everybody loves the sunshine.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 360.
Spencer Callahan, Injury Lawyers.
Good morning, everybody. It's 9 a.m. on Wednesday, July 7th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see cloudy skies with a high of 84. In case you missed hours 1 or 2 of the show, you can catch that shortly up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and now on TikTok at OTB_ESPN. Watch us live on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel. Subscribe and set your notifications. You can also check us out on Cox Sports Television. OTB, OT, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
What up, y'all? Welcome back. OTB, OT starting now. Let's say goodbye to our New Orleans audience on 100.3. Hopefully you can join us online, youtube.com/1045ESPN. If you're watching online, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps. Super simple. If you're watching on CST, shout out, man. Watch the NOLA Gold on Sunday. What time, Danny?
I have not looked yet at the schedule.
That's my bad. I did set you up out of nowhere. We did not workshop any of that during the break. I threw it to you out of nowhere. Danny, the blue light glasses look incredible. I have you know you had me Googling blue light glasses yesterday. I, too, want to look more intelligent while protecting my eyes. And fortunately, I don't have bad eyes yet. And so unlike Jake, who just had to have his fixed again. And yeah, so I might go the blue light glasses as well. Patrick Vines says, T-Bob, hate to ask you to relive that, talking about getting cut, but it's super fascinating. What happened? Did you muff a snap? Let a man free? What went wrong? All right, let's go. Look, let's go to a little circle of trust time here, right? A little story time. I don't generally like to talk about my playing experiences too much, just because like sometimes they're relevant, but I don't know. I don't think it's terribly interesting the majority of the time. But we're waiting on Peyton Turner. We got some time to fill, so I guess it's as good a time as any. I was in a really good spot when I was trying to make teams. I guess it's like 2012, trying to make the St. Louis Rams. Got there as an undrafted free agent. Got a, not to brag, boys, $500 signing bonus. After taxes, we're talking about $308 in the bank. Triple Benjamins and Abe and 3 Georges. Not to brag again. In fact, it's kind of funny. So I thought that you started to get paid once you were there for OTAs and minicamp and everything. And so the first night we're out there, dude, we go to a Hooters. The rookies do. We go to Hooters.
With the fellas.
Yeah, there was Timothy Bradley and Floyd were fighting. Does that sound right? Maybe. I don't know, right? But I mean, we're getting slammed. I think I spent $200 at Hooters. And at that time, I'd never spent money like that, right?
That's a lot of wings.
I was like, whoa, dude. Okay, yeah. I never really gone out like that. I'm used to drinking them $10 natty light flats in Baton Rouge. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, dude. Let's go. Come to find out, you definitely do not get paid. You do not get paid till you either end up on practice squad or roster. You get a per diem, but you do not get paid. So it is kind of funny. When it was all said and done, thanks to that $500 signing bonus, I think I actually spent money trying to make the NFL. I think I came out in the red trying to make the league. But I got the blue check mark on Twitter. So maybe it all balances out. I don't know. But whatever. So even though, as you could tell, I was at the lowest rung of undrafted free agents, I got put in a great spot. I was playing well. The starting center got hurt. So, I was taking all of the twos reps. When he returned, me and the backup that had been there for a couple of years, we were splitting the reps 50-50 with the twos and the threes. Really good. Okay, first preseason game. Pretty good next 2. Really good the third one, I would say. So, it felt like everything was moving in the right direction. And it really, the older guys, dude, you're going to make it. You're going to make the team. I mean, you're for sure making practice squad, all this stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm trying not to get in my head. I'm trying to stay focused. It was a very weird existence, right? Where for about 4 months, every day you're going into work and you're like, is this the day where I get fired? Like you talk about every rep mattering. The amount of pressure that you just constantly lived under, I found to be pretty wild, kind of living on the bubble in the manner that I did. And then I'll never forget the cut days where like you work out and you're sitting in the locker room and in St. Louis's case, at least, the angel of death was the strength coach, and he'd come and tap you on the shoulder, and you never saw that man again. And so I made it through the first couple of those. So last test, right? The final cut day is the day after the 4th preseason game, and I'll never forget, before the game, I think it was probably as nervous as I've ever been in my entire life to do something like that. And so it's one of the reasons why I think in hindsight, and hindsight's always 20/20, I almost wish that I had been more proactive on things like what Will Wade's always talking about, like mindfulness, meditation, right? Kind of mentally preparing yourself for those biggest moments. Because quite frankly, I don't know that there's any other way to slice it than I choked. Like I said, I got about 13 plays that game. I got beat horribly on a couple pass rushes, a couple mental mistakes, which absolutely had not happened up to that point, right? Like that was my entire strength. Even to the point where at one point, somebody had gone down and I was the backup on field goal, and I should have known better. 9 times out of 10, I feel like I would have known better, but I was kind of in my own head a little bit because of what was going on. And so all of a sudden the field goals team out there, I'm not out there, I have to run on late. So, I mean, it was a litany of errors. And it was definitely one of those snowball situations where once that ball started rolling, I struggled to stop it. And sure enough, if you're talking about the meat market of the NFL, the margins that decide these things are razor thin. And you know who didn't play poorly? The guy that I was in that 50-50 competition with. And he ends up getting kept. I end up getting let go. Never forget. And look, the Rams were awesome, dude. They handled everything. Jeff Fisher was great. Schottenheimer, they took you room by room. They explained everything. But I'll never forget the O-line coach just being like, man, like Boudreaux. His name was Boudreaux, Coach Boudreaux. He was just like, I don't know what the hell happened. And I just kind of echoed him. I didn't know either. Now, I will say this, although it sounds like I'm still very torn up about this, I don't believe that to be the case. I think that in many ways, I'm actually very lucky, right? Because I know a lot of guys that maybe went to training camp or got undrafted free agent deals and they never even got to play. Didn't get to play in practice, didn't get to play in preseason games. All of a sudden they're cut and their dreams are over. Like, if nothing else, I think what gives me a lot of peace in this fact is that I was given a very legitimate opportunity and I was able to decide things myself. And so ultimately it was my level of play that led me to sinking or swimming. I think I've also made peace with it because, look, man, those guys are really good. And it's like anything else in life. There's always somebody better than you. No matter what you do, there's always room for improvement. At a certain time, you're going to max out your own potential and you're just not going to be able to keep pace anymore. And like, I think probably at my best, I was a hang around on a roster guy for 3 years, 4 years. Now you might say in and of itself that is like self-limiting, and maybe that was part of the mental problem originally, and maybe so. I don't know. It's a little too deep for me. I think I'm just being honest with kind of where my physical talent level was at compared to compared to everyone else at that level. So like, yeah, I mean, I think I maybe could have hung around for a couple of years, but in the end, it was what it was. And like I said, I think I made peace with it because I was able to decide things with my play on the field. There wasn't any political BS or not even getting an opportunity to showcase what I could do. And there definitely comes a relative bit of peace in that. And let's also be clear, the money would have been nice, but I don't always miss the anxiety. Like I said, it was a really weird experience thinking every day is my job in line, am I going to get cut? And if you're one of these roster fringe guys, if you're even a practice squad member, that doesn't go away once the season starts. I mean, the meat market never stops churning. You get a key injury, you need to free up a roster spot. That could be you at any given time. So it's a fascinating life for those guys making it on the edges, but the rewards are great, right? I mean, physically demanding, mentally demanding, anxiety, all those other things, but the rewards are excellent if you can get it done, and it's why you see everybody fighting so hard to do just that. So, I mean, that's what it was. Just really kind of blew it, quite frankly. But again, at least I had control of the blowing. So it is what it is. I will say this. It's kind of funny how football and everything else in life can be relative, because, like, Jeff Fisher was easily the best coach that I'd ever played for. And yet, when you think about the NFL, you think about him being, like, literally the definition of mediocrity. I mean, certainly he had great seasons, made a Super Bowl and whatnot. But the 7-9 seasons are the thing that defined Jeff Fisher at that point. And it just shows you how good everybody in the league is, because that was the smartest football coach that I've ever seen and ever played for. So it was an awesome experience, fantastic experience. Everybody in the St. Louis organization was great. Loved my time up there. Actually, y'all remember Leroy Glover?
Yeah.
He was the player personnel guy.
That's awesome.
So that was pretty awesome, right? I'm getting to hang out with one of the all-time great Saints pass rushers. He was also one of the most intimidating men that I have ever met in my life. And he used to make me be his little gopher, dude. I used to have to buy him cans of dip all the time. He'd be like, "Hey, Bear, where is it, man?" Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir, Leroy. Absolutely. Yes, sir. So that's the story. Patrick, I hope that answers your question. I know it was incredibly long-winded, but like I said, safe space, circle time, story time. All right, coming up next, hopefully we can get in touch with Peyton Turner. I'm not really holding out too much hope at this point. We will get him on later sometime in the week or sometime later on. We'll see whenever the case may be. Maybe talk a little NBA Finals coming up next. And then at 9:30, what I'm really excited to talk is how we kick things off, right? NIL. Super PACs for funding these athletes, local economies, the bagmen being legitimized, all this we're going to dive into with Stephen Godfrey, who, if you don't know, is a bit of a bagman expert. He has written a ton of articles, even books on kind of the seedy undercurrent, the seedy economy of college football. So nobody better to maybe give us some perspective on what it all means. So keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
OTB, OT.
Go to AccuTempBR.com today. AccuTempBR.com. Service to the highest degree, because they're AC, heating, and electrical. Get it? Look, if you need a generator for storm season, they have a ton of them, but they're going fast. So go on to AccuTemp today and see if you can get yours immediately. But how about this? If you have any AC questions, any heating questions, go ahead and don't just get AccuTemp to come. Well, look, get them to come out and look at your home. But what I mean by that is you'll get the immediate benefit of making sure your immediate problems are taken care of. But maybe the greater benefit is you're entered in to the AccuTemp work cycle, where all of a sudden in 6 months, they call you up, like, "Hey, we need to come back up to your house. When's a good time for you?" It's very easy to schedule. It's one of the greatest parts of working with them. And then they come out and they check things out. And guess what? It's free. When they told me that, I was like, well, how much does this cost? It's running fine. They don't know, it's free. And they said, you know what? It's all good. Didn't cost me anything. That's the type of customer service we're talking about. Go to AccuTempBR.com today.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out at 1045ESPN.com, the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. LSU has a new pitching coach. We'll tell you all about Jason Kelly and Game 1 of the NBA Finals. We'll recap it. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
I can feel it. Welcome back, OTB. As you can tell, we have finally broken down the Mario Jerez resistance to playing unlicensed free music. Mario, unfortunately, has had to sacrifice all of his beloved license-free tunes, such as the license-free dubstep drop, the very Fortnite-sounding music, and Danny has... Danny, you put together this playlist for today?
Yes.
Okay.
Much more coming.
Okay. Nice work there, Danny.
I'll
nice
miss the piano tune. That
wasn't bad. I mean, look, they grew on me. But I gotta say, today's music has been significantly better.
Yeah, it's a little refreshing, I guess. Whatever, not really.
It's the same 10 songs over and over again on every single show and station.
And I wonder how much the listeners know, because this is such a weird job, and that I try to have these conversations that span 3 hours of the show. But look, shout out to the chat. A lot of y'all hang out the entire time, and that does mean the world to me. Y'all are the best. But majority of people, you're in the car, you're like walking in and out of the lecture hall. You're here for 8 minutes, you're here for 10 minutes. So I wonder if our perspective's different, or if they're just as sick of all of those same license-free songs as we are, because we hear them.
It's probably similar to the jingles. Like if they're sick of hearing all the jingles, like Spencer Callahan and stuff like that, then they're probably sick of the rejoin music too.
I love a good jingle. They're insidious, like an earworm. They just dig into the cavities of your brain and stay there forever.
WCK.
I mean,
okay.
I mean, just New Orleans always had some bangers too, back in the day. All right, though, let's talk about a couple of major tournaments going on, and then again we got Stephen Godfrey coming up next. Euro 2020 today, semifinal, England, Denmark. I mean, what a game, dude! I believe it's in Wembley in England. It's going to be fantastic. We laid a little bit on the line, or we laid it out yesterday a little bit. What's on the line for England? Second major tournament in a row. They made the semis. They definitely understand how quickly it can come to a close, though. As in the World Cup in 2018 in Russia, they make the semis. It's so exciting. You lose, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, good job, but you still didn't get it all the way across the finish line. And so what does it really amount to in the end? So some interesting perspective, I think, for a lot of these English players. And again, I mean, look, it's so much of, because maybe your listeners are like, I don't really care about football or soccer. Well, the deal is, though, what you probably do care about if you're a sports fan, and I'm not trying to convince anybody to watch it, doesn't want to watch. You don't want to watch, whatever. But I do think there's some interest in terms of being able to appreciate stakes, right? And what's on the line. And that's why I love these major international soccer tournaments, is that you're talking about once every 4 years or once every couple years if you want to put the Euro and the World Cup on the same level. And so your opportunities as a player are few and far between. Your opportunities as a fan to even watch your team are few and far between, right? When do your memories kick in? When you're like 6 or 7 years old, say to you live till you're 80, so you have like 74 years worth of memory. You divide that by 4. I mean, what are we looking at here? Like 17 chances to maybe watch your game compared to something like football where every year your team's going to have a chance to win a championship. So like I can appreciate that sort of intrigue. I can appreciate those stakes. It's why watching Spain, Italy yesterday was absolutely fantastic, and how crazy everybody went on the goals and the near misses and the PK. So I'm looking forward to another great Euro 2020 day today. Not as good yesterday from an excitement standpoint was the NBA Finals, Suns-Bucks. Suns, for the third time this year, now beating the Milwaukee Bucks. Of course, the two regular season matchups much closer, but right now the series does stand, season series, stands at 3-0. Mario, you are our NBA expert on this program. What do you think about Suns-Bucks game 1 yesterday?
Man, CP3, 31 points right off the bat. I thought he's moving around a lot better than he was in the last round. If he plays like that, they're going to be really tough to stop. And I saw somebody, I forgot if it was Christian Clark or some reporter, forgive me, but they were giving credit specifically to Willie Green because Chris Paul had a quote after the game saying that Willie Green was telling us to push the pace and play with high tempo. Obviously, that's a big reason why they won, so that stood out to me.
I mean, Willie Green, dude, Mario, there's your boy.
Yeah.
There's your boy, right? Is that who you think is going to be coach, or is that your favorite candidate? Or no, your favorite candidate is still Vincent.
Yes, there you go. I think I've made the analogy on middle relief that Vincent in the Pelicans coaching search is just like Cliff Godwin was in the LSU baseball coaching search. Like they're going to go try to get Charles Lee or try to get Willie Green, I think. Could be wrong. And then if that doesn't work out, they might circle back to Fred Vincent, and if not, just keep him on staff as an assistant. But we'll see. I do like Fred. A lot of those guys, all the candidates don't have head coaching experience, but Fred Vincent has been an assistant for longer than the other two candidates, and he's really familiar with the franchise, specifically Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram. You at least keep a little bit of continuity. That's why I like him.
Yeah, I don't. What was I mean, again, as far as the hires go, I definitely like giving someone an opportunity that doesn't have before, because whatever, you need to try that. I'm trying to think about David Griffin and Stan Van Gundy and what I wanted to bring up. As I try to remember this, Mario, let me ask you this. In yesterday's finals game, you said you thought the Bucks were going to win.
I did.
Correct? In the series. I'm not just talking about yesterday. Did yesterday change your opinion at all?
No, not really. And in fact, I really respect Giannis for playing through the pain and playing still really efficiently. I mean, to score 20 points on 6 for 11 shooting, and he had that chase down block. I don't know if you saw it in the third quarter, but was really reminiscent to what LeBron did in the NBA Finals a couple of years ago. And I think the Bucks just play really good defense. The Suns got the better of them in game 1, but Giannis is still there. Brook Lopez is still there. Drew Holiday was awful last night. I expect them to play a lot better, and I definitely still like Milwaukee in the series.
Okay, here is the angle that I was trying to remember and blanking on a second ago. Another interesting quote in the ensuing fallout between Stan Van Gundy and David Griffin yesterday, where SVG was talking about, look, all he cared about was the record, right? And that's what he wanted to get right. And that's what he was upset with. And that's what he was transmitting to the players. It is said that Griffin, what he cared about, even more so than the record, was kind of the workplace environment, right? Where people wanting to come into work. Were they happy coming to work? Interestingly, that would jive, I think, with what they were both originally talking about which was building this idea of culture. But I think they approach it from two different standpoints. I think SVG's definition of culture is just a winning culture. I think David Griffin's definition of culture is a positive workplace environment, and if you do that, then the winning will follow. I kind of love this, okay? Because I, like everybody else, fell in love with Ted Lasso over this offseason. And like, what is Ted Lasso if not that theory taken to the extreme? Now, obviously, it's not one-to-one, but I just mean from the base standpoint of like, we want to focus on creating that positive environment, people being happy, wanting to come into work, and then success will follow. That is kind of the secret sauce behind Lasso's entire approach. What do you think, Mar? Is Griff wrong for emphasizing that kind of workplace environment versus the base wins and losses? Because Van Gundy was interesting. He was like, look, man, I would have gotten it if they were upset with me because of the record. And the record certainly didn't help, and I'm sure that was a big part of it. But he's basically saying it felt like they were more upset with me because they were mad that I was getting mad at the players and the players weren't responding well.
Yeah, so fair or unfair, I think SVG is a little out of touch because, again, the last time Stan Van Gundy was a successful NBA head coach, it was 10 years ago.
And that's a long time in the internet age.
Exactly. It's a long time in general. You don't coach 23-year-olds the same way you coached 23-year-olds back in 2011, right? So Stan Van Gundy was just really out of touch there, and it goes back to the initial hire. I mean, Griffin clearly just messed that one up because you should see how the coach interacts with his players. You should know what everybody's philosophies are from the bat, but obviously that did not happen. And again, I'm with Griffin because I think it's really important to create an environment like that. That environment did not exist during the Dell Demps era. So that is really important, but you just got to be, at the end of the day, you got to have a better understanding of what your players want and how they want to be coached, what kind of coach fits that mold, and make a hire. Because, again, Griffin has messed up not just Stan Van Gundy hire, but extending Alvin Gentry and going back to his Cleveland days, bringing in David Blatt. It hasn't been good execution, but I do like the idea of trying to create that family atmosphere. And I think Stan Van Gundy is just a little bit out of touch here because, yeah, that's ultimately what you're going to be judged on, your win-loss record, what happens on the court. But there's so much more that goes into coaching in today's NBA than that.
It is kind of a bit interesting, though, in that I feel at times the players are kind of talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Yeah.
Because the reports are that after Alvin Gentry, what did Zion and Brandon Ingram say they wanted? They said they wanted a coach that was going to hold them accountable, right? Like they basically said Alvin Gentry was a bit too player-friendly, a bit too lax. Well, then you bring in someone who tried to do just that. You're like, whoa, not that accountable. Right?
Yeah.
It's like the forgetting Sarah Marshall thing. It's like do less.
The players definitely.
No, you got to do something.
Yeah, the players definitely have to grow up a little bit, not just in that area, but on the court as well. I think I've been saying this all offseason and really since the end of last season, but the Pelicans I think are going to be better next year just off of maturation. Like Zion Williamson, Lonzo Ball, Ingram, all these guys have taken their lumps the last 2 years, and they haven't been disaster seasons, but they haven't quite gotten to where they want to go. Right now, with a couple years of experience, the head coach, I don't want to say becomes less important, but they're able to kind of coach themselves a little bit more. So somebody who leans more toward the Alvin Gentry extreme side of things would work more than somebody who leans towards Stan Van Gundy and being that rigid, really strict coach. So that's going to be the importance. It's the three bears, right? Too hot, too cold, just right. You got to find the just right, and that's really tough to do. But that's why David Griffin is in the position he's in, and he needs to come through, or the Pelicans are going to be in some trouble.
Who's going to be that tiny little perfect baby bear? Only time will tell. Is my chair sinking? I feel like I'm getting significantly shorter during every segment. I might have to stand up for the end. Let's talk to Stephen Godfrey next here on Off the Bench.
OTB, OT.
All right, check it out. We got a new limited run sponsor here. I'm talking about Associated Grocers, and we got big news because Associated Grocers is hiring right now. So let's say you've been out of work for a while. Let's say you're just looking for a career change. Kick these tires, man. Kick these tires. You go to agbr.com. It's agbr.com. You can see their website right now if you're watching online. And you can kind of explore what Associated Grocers are offering. And we're talking about a place that has an incredible workplace environment, great benefits, great overtime. If you're off and you get called in to work with them, about double pay. And look, right now they are especially looking for tractor trailer drivers, a $1,000 signing bonus if you sign up as a driver. So if you want competitive compensation, you want meaningful benefits, you want opportunity for growth. Again, this is a career. Go to the Associated Grocers Job Fair, July 16th, 8 a.m. to noon. That's agbr.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our...
Coming up on a Wednesday edition of Middle Relief, we recap Game 1 of the NBA Finals, talk some LSU football as we'll be 59 days away from the season opener, and a whole lot more. Middle Relief, 12 to 3 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome back, OTB. I'm super excited for this. We've been really excited for it all day because there's no one better to talk about this subject. We opened the show today talking about Dan Lambert and the business owner, what he's doing at Miami. Not just promising $500 a month to every scholarship athlete on the Miami football team this year, which that is what it is. It's not a big deal. The bigger deal to me is this idea of fundraising. He's created an organization that will collect money and then donate that money to businesses that guarantee to spend that money on endorsing Miami athletes. In other words, we have arrived at the age of the legitimized bagman. And who understands bagmen better than the man who has written about them many, many times? Fascinating reads if you ever get the chance. Our guy, Stephen Godfrey, at 38 Godfrey on Twitter. Now you can find him on Secret Base, one of my favorite YouTube channels. Just an incredible look at sports from angles you've never quite considered. The Split Zone Duo podcast. He's got a lot going on. Stephen, what's up, dude? Thanks for carving out some time for us.
Good morning, y'all. How are you?
I'm doing well. So help me out here. Am I wrong in saying that we now live in the age of the legitimized and legalized bagman?
Yeah, in a way. I think that the illegal part of it is never really going to go away entirely, but
For
I
sure.
definitely think that the ticky tack part of it that everyone used to get so upset about, that is now officially above board, and I think that a tremendous amount of concern on both the part of the players and their families, and also the guys doing the bagging. We'll create a verb there. All this it's above board now. Everybody can kind of breathe easy. It is a new day, but I am confident in the ability of crazy boosters to find ways to cheat in the future.
Yeah.
And I will get back to you when they do.
Yeah, I kind of said that in a video the other day, right? Like, there's always going to be cheating on the fringes. That just is what it is. So that'll still go on, but thankfully now you won't have like Todd Gurley lose a Heisman season for selling a jersey or something like that. Like it's much more acceptable. Here's what fascinates me though, Steven, is that so obviously you know about Dan Lambert in Miami and the organization he started. I'm struggling to remember the title of my name. It doesn't matter. Essentially, it's like he created a political PAC, like a super PAC, but for Miami football. Does this become the norm? And then we got into like fascinating conversations about, okay, well then does like state economy come into it? Because there's so much more money in a place like Miami compared to Louisiana with the 50th economy. But then do we take like the Bernie Sanders approach where you're looking for populist kind of grassroots donations to fund these PACs, to then fund these players? I mean, where does it end?
I think the best way to look at it, I've been saying this the entire time, and it's not really like a newsworthy quote, but the rich will get richer. And what I mean by that is that if you have the kind of organization that, or let's start with the fan base first, okay? If you have enough of a passionate fan base to fill a 90,000-seat stadium, or that you've won national titles, or you sell merchandise, and you have a well-represented brand, you are going to be best positioned to build some sort of compensation structure similar to what Miami is doing. Now, Miami is obviously an outlier based on their history and their culture, but I think that culture in Miami is very informative in this case because they've always viewed the U as something of a pro/semi-pro culture.
Yeah.
Just the ideology there is different. I'm not saying that's representative of everywhere in the United States. It's not like you don't create a Nevin Shapiro in Nebraska. But I do think in Nebraska, you might see a more successful Nebraska in the future because I know for a fact people would donate. You know, Clemson has this thing called IPTE. If you don't know what that is, it stands for I Pay 10 a year. And basically what it was, it's a genius idea. They took their young alumni who aren't making any money and they say, give us $10 a year to start and you're in the alumni program.
Yeah.
That is a really interesting model to build for the future to then figure out how you can create, what amounts to be a salary pool.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, it's crazy, dude. It's political fundraising translated to now the college level, which look, I'm fine with. Now, I'm sure we're due for all the excellent corruption that we see on the political side of the equation with people skimming and people keeping and what wonderful drama that will cause eventually. But I mean, I'm happy if at least that means that these players are now getting taken care of and they can provide for their families or whatnot. Hopefully it has good endings in all of this. So I agree with you. I think we're due for kind of a consolidation of power. Here's my question, Stephen, and I want to get your perspective on this because the NCAA, by design, has been laissez-faire in all this, or at least I think they have, right? Maybe they just somehow got caught so flat-footed, which I find hard to believe. I don't know what their strategy is. Is it to have chaos? So then they'd be like, oh, well, we need some sort of federal guidelines, which that sounds good. But the problem with that is, to me, Stephen, this is a toothpaste out of the tube situation. Once these players start getting that compensation, there's no going back. Maybe there's ways to cap it or change it, but you've lost that battle at that point.
Oh, I would love to. If you find out what their long-term strategy is, I would love to hear it.
Yeah.
I think at this point, their inertia, purposeful inertia, I might add, they dug in and did not get involved when individual states started passing NIL, other than to try and, they kind of wagged their finger at first and said, we won't, if California passes this or North Carolina passes this, we won't have events there. But the problem was then Florida passed it, right? Then Georgia passed it. Then Louisiana passed it. And then that became a moot point. So they've kind of bit their tongue and dug their heels in purposefully because they didn't. I honestly believe in Indianapolis, they couldn't really conceive of a strategy once public sentiment had swung the other way. For years, we in the media have been taught to demonize players for taking a couple $100 for playing college football at the highest level, right?
Yeah.
Once that public sentiment swung in the other direction, where it just seemed asinine, when you have the NCAA basketball tournament, which in the NCAA themselves own, making billions of dollars with a B, all right, billions. I think the average consumer finally just said, well, why not? Why not give these kids $1,500 a month? I want my video game back. Why not pay them to be in the video game? It all broke down. And I think once they could not enforce that culture of, this sort of pearl clutching, just the amateurism model relied on a lot of bad faith beliefs. I think they lost the public sentiment and they don't know what to do now. And I'll take it a step further and say this. There really is not a lot left holding the Power 5 conferences plus the American from going to the NCAA and saying, hey, thanks, but we're not going to do this with you anymore, right? If you don't understand what I'm saying, they don't own the postseason the way they do in basketball, right?
Yeah.
The college football playoff is separate from the NCAA. The bowls are separate from the NCAA. There isn't a lot of incentive for these schools to deal with or kowtow to the NCAA anymore. If they want to develop their own structure, their own system, because, guys, playing and living and being an LSU athlete has nothing in common with being a ULM athlete, okay? And we are taught and we are expected to treat these institutions the same way. Nowhere in America would you take a business with a budget of $500,000 and a business with a budget of $175 million annually or whatever it is now and expect them to operate under the same principles, right?
Yeah.
That has to change. And if the NCAA is not willing to bend on that, I really think that the haves are just going to walk away.
And so it begs the question, Stephen, and follow Stephen on Twitter at 38 Godfrey. What does Mark Emmert actually do? Because the fascinating part about this is between the pandemic, where they refused to take any forward position of leadership and just left it up to everybody else, same type of approach in this situation. Have they not exposed themselves as being really just quite ancillary to the entire ordeal?
Yeah, here's what he does. He's a straw man. Okay, I have two sons.
Yeah. Okay, so he's like the lightning rod, like Goodell.
Yeah, when my kids do bad stuff, they take the middle. Like my middle kid is the one who steps up and is like, "Oh yeah, it was all me. I'll go to timeout." That's what Mark Emmert exists at. He's the straw man because the NCAA at the end of the day is nothing more than a representation of the schools themselves. And so when a lot of these bad faith policies were pushed through, or a lot of these terrible bylaws were enforced. Keep in mind, that was the quote. The NCAA, when I was doing all that investigating and constantly putting them against the wall, they would throw their hands up, guys, and say, we're just representing the membership. So the membership is LSU. The membership is Dartmouth. That's the membership, okay? So the schools are no longer going to be able to create a straw man to blame and also a boogeyman to do the bad things for them. That's the biggest difference.
Does Dabo Swinney have to retire now, since he is very much on the record as saying hey, for me, man, when players start getting paid, that's it for me. I might just walk away.
I mean, he should just go coach the Cowboys anyway. That would just be. I mean, just go do that. I think it's weird because they are so particular about their recruiting process anyway, and they built such a metaphorical and literal church up there. I don't know how much this is going to blow back on him. I really don't. Look, I'll give the devil his due. He's done a really remarkable job of building his own echo chamber at Clemson, and obviously the results speak for themselves.
Oh.
I don't think he's going to take any flack for it.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder, too, are they going to be forward-thinking enough to kind of put all that past behind them and be like, no, we got to be very proactive with this, right? Like the same way LSU's been like, look, hey, we make famous people. Come here, and you will maximize your brand. Speaking of what you got going on right now, Steven, you got a lot going on, man. So you just joined John Boy's Secret Base, which I absolutely love. Again, just this morning, before you ever told me this, I just saved a video to watch later. It's 40 minutes titled How Michael Jordan Destroyed the Cavaliers. I'm sure it's going to be fascinating like every single video is. You also worked with Vice on the dark side of football for Vice TV. And you have the Split Zone doing podcasts. And you did all the coach gossip for the Athlon Sports Preview, man. So, what's
131 teams,
Yeah, so what's it been like for you lately, man?
It's hilarious because when you ask coaches on the record and then you get them talking off the record, as you know, it is a vastly different culture. Yeah. And there's an old Southern saying about more gossip than a church sewing circle. Coaches are worse than old women, man. They're so much worse than old church ladies. So that's always a fun way to spend my off season. I start doing it in March and I finish around May, and it's so catty. You have to throw most of it out because you're worried about confirming it. So the SEC is as just nitpicky as ever. I'm trying to use good radio friendly words. Obviously they smell blood with LSU. There's a ton of gossip about Auburn and just sort of what structurally they're going to look like. It's the same Saban fatigue. It's very funny to see the way that people who are less successful than Kirby make fun of Kirby because they can't really get to the summit. But I would say locally, there's a lot of questions about Ed and about the relationship with the assistants. But there's also a lot of people who, in an objective manner will go, hey, talent evaluation is talent evaluation. And this roster should just be better by default.
You're talking about LSU.
There will be a bounce back. Yeah, just by default. So there's not a lot of people that are necessarily saying, like, hey, this is the beginning of the end. They might point to some systemic issues with personnel in terms of coaching. But at the same time, I find that a little funny because Saban can turn over an entire staff and no one says that.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I don't know about the new coaches, how good they'll be, but, the old ones had to go. I mean, believe me, it was just the worst disaster I've ever seen firsthand in my life. It was kind of fascinating. Stephen Godfrey.
I'm going to say this real fast. The most talked about game in the entire coaching community was that LSU Mississippi State game. It will go down in history.
It's like medical malpractice. If you were a doctor, you should get sued for that. It was kind of unbelievable to watch. Yeah, what did people say about it?
I had two DCs. They were like, "Why didn't you adjust?" They ran 4 plays.
It's crazy. It is like the ultimate. Just I don't know. Maybe your brain just breaks. You refuse to. It's wild, man. Completely wild to look back on. And then it's funny because that's what Miles Brennan gets judged on, right? Because he lost that game, and so it's.
He didn't. But K.J. Costello, a kid from Stanford, set the single game passing record for the SEC in his first game. Miles didn't. Was Miles playing safety?
And then he got benched. Costello did 3 or 4 games later. Oh, my God, dude. It's unreal. It's completely unreal. Steven, thank you so much for joining us this morning, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Stephen Godfrey at 38 Godfrey. Again, listen to Split Zone Duo podcast, and watch Vice Dark Side of Football. Go check out Steven Works on Secret Base. Secret Base is just an awesome YouTube channel. If you've never seen it before, really can't recommend enough. Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Coors Light. Wrapping up the show next.
OTB, OT.
Go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com and drive a new whip today. I'm whipping in the studio in case you're just listening. But it's because I'm so excited about the incredible deals right now at All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge, or maybe the incredible deals they can offer you if you're looking to sell your vehicle. The market has never been better. And then you could turn around, maximize that value. You want to turn around, buy a brand new 2021, they got you. Toyota certified used vehicle where you get things like a warranty, they got you. Maybe you don't know what you want. Well, just check it out. Have the conversation. Let them be your shaman in the wilderness. It can be overwhelming, but trust me when I say they have the answer for you that you will leave thoroughly satisfied with. The bottom line, the Japanese know how to make cars, okay? Toyota stand the test of time. I'm very happy to join the Toyota family. In fact, it's so nice I joined it twice. Sienna and Corolla. Camry. All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Middle Relief, and after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installation.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. LSU has a new pitching coach. We'll tell you all about Jason Kelly and Game 1 of the NBA Finals. We'll recap it. Join us Wednesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
What up, y'all? Welcome back, OTB. Let's go ahead and wrap it up today. Little Ask the Bench brought to you by Cold Course Light, Busy Hard Seltzer, and Blue Moon Light Sky Citrus Sweet. Hashtag Ask the Bench. Are we living in a simulation? I don't know, dude. Maybe.
Did you see my reply?
No.
The Suns and the Bucks are in the NBA Finals right now, so we might be.
Look, the bottom line is if we're living in a simulation, it's a good enough one where it's indiscernible to us. So, does it matter if it's a simulation or not at that point?
Yeah, enjoy your fake life.
Hashtag Ask the Bench. Exactly. Leave me in the Matrix. I don't want to go to that horrible real world with all the aliens floating around trying to stab me all the time or robots. I just want to be here in the Matrix and eat steak. Hashtag Ask the Bench. T-Bob, you need to show Matt Moscona where the new headphones are. Terrio had a meltdown on the Friday with the cheap Sony Walkmans. Okay, good. No, it's not just us. Thank you to the executives for the new headphones. Hashtag Ask the Bench. Is the Subway tuna real? No chance.
No, there was an article about it recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they tested it and it was not, they couldn't see what species it was.
That happened 5 or 6 years ago to Taco Bell, where they learned that, and they probably changed this, but they learned that their beef did not legally qualify as beef. There was not enough beef in it to be beef.
First ever job was at Subway.
Oh, I don't know why, bro. I used to love Subway. Hasn't aged well. It hasn't aged into the millennial era very well, or the Gen Z era.
What about the Subway smell? Do you like Subway smell or no?
It's the smell of bread. So yeah, for the most part, yes. I still like Subway white bread, even with the yoga mat and everything in it that they got in trouble for back in the day. Hashtag Ask the Bench. Will y'all make the Cannon a regular segment? I win, will y'all, whenever he retires in WWL. Let's. Hashtag Ask the Bench. Favorite viral video game moment of all time. Have y'all ever seen the Wombo Combo video? Super Smash Bros. That ain't Falcon. Well, that's one great. A lot of fighting game moments. That one's great. The best, though, is Daigo full parry. Evo tournament back in the day. I think they're playing Street Fighter 3. Daigo's a beast. He down to his last hit. He D's up full parries to Chun, or is he Chun-Li? I can't remember. Daigo full parry. You got to watch it. It's hype.
I disagree. Leroy
Jenkins is excellent staged, but excellent nonetheless. Also, and they actually honored this in the most recent Battlefield trailer. Did you ever see the video where the guy's flying the jet? He jumps out the jet, shoots a rocket launcher at another jet, and then falls back in it and flies away. Very sick. And they actually did that in the trailer to honor him. So that's cool, too. Can you please plant a rubber snake in the studio prior to AFR so we can cry like a girl on air? That would be great if Kara would find her way here. You have a home here. Kara, you could stay with us. Actually, good luck to Kara. Hope we find you today. And good luck to you out there. Hope you have a great Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday coming up. Hope we'll get in touch with Peyton Turner sometime this week. We'll see. Keep it locked in OTB. See you manana.
OTB, OT.